zone weather in Brewton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Meganson. Severe weather coverage starts right now.
The first tornado warning of the day for our local area has just been issued for northern Covington County. If you are in Andalusia, Strawn, or areas near Gant Lake, you are now under a tornado warning. Hope you're having a nice Wednesday evening. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson, joined alongside executive producer Landon Barentine. This is a new tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service for northern Covington and southern Crenshaw counties. This is a supercell storm that has developed out ahead of the main batch of thunderstorms, and this is a tornado warning, meaning we need you to get sheltered right now as we have a possible tornado near Andalusia, perhaps just to the north of there, and this is moving to the north. And so let's actually, I want to switch to our KEOX radar source and show you this because, again, the danger is now a bit to the north of the city of Andalusia. Possible tornado is basically near the Gant Lake Dam and also areas just to the south of there near Strawn and out here towards Heath. And so this possible tornado is moving just like this. This is basically going to parallel Gant Lake and Highway 29 coming into areas out here near Watkins Bridge and Clearview. And so this is a new tornado warning that is valid until 6 o'clock local time for northern Covington County. Now, this is a bit counterintuitive to what you might think because the main batch of storms is back here. Landon, if you'll take me over to LD2, we'll show you the wide view across the region to show you that we do have a big line of storms moving into West Alabama. Wouldn't be shocked if we got more tornado warnings over the next little bit for parts of Mobile or Washington counties. But again, the first one for our local area is actually over here in Covington County. Let's go back over to LD1. And we'll zoom in to Covington County because this possible tornado is near Gant right now. Let's show you the velocity data on this. That's your circulation. This is your mesocyclone, and this is a radar-indicated tornado very near Strawn, coming into areas near Gant Lake right now. And again, this is going to be very near Dunn's Bridge over the next few minutes. Same thing at Strawn. Heath is also included in this tornado warning polygon. And again, for the folks in Covington County, you need to be taking action to protect yourself right now. And specifically, let's tell you exactly who's involved in this. Here's your watch warning map. And I'll zoom out and show you the entirety of Covington County because this is basically from Andalusia and points north out toward Gant Lake. If you're in Opp, this has nothing to do with you. Same thing at Florella, same thing at Wing. You're out of the polygon. No issues in southern Covington County. Same thing at red level. If you're at red level, Luango, areas near Rome, Carolina, you are fine. River Falls, you're out. Nothing to do with you in those specific areas. But again, this is in effect, this tornado warning is in effect until 6 o'clock for areas near Gant Lake, Clearview, Strawn, areas on the top of the hill right there at the barbecue joint on Highway 29, just to the south of the Gant Lake Dam. This is Gant Lake right in through here. This possible tornado is moving off to the northeast. Let's go back over to our radar source here. We'll turn the radar back on. We're looking at this from over in southeast Alabama. This is the best radar vantage point. Your radar is actually over here in Dale County looking out toward Covington County. And so using the radar in southeast Alabama to track this supercell storm that's basically paralleling Highway 29 coming up the pike at about 25 miles per hour. And again, this tornado warning was triggered at 5:08 p.m. It's now 5:15 p.m. and this is moving just like that. And so this is going to be in Crenshaw County near Dozier in about 10 to 20 minutes. But right now, under the gun, northern Covington County. And keep in mind, this is coming through an area that is pretty familiar with tornadoes. We actually had an EF2 tornado that ripped through parts of Antioch and Strawn back in 2020, I believe it was. And so this one's actually moving to the northeast, very near Gant Lake, which is right in through here. Here's the town of Gant. Here's Strawn. If you live near Strawn High School, if you live within 5 miles of that school, you need to be taking your tornado warning precautions right now. Landon, let's put up our graphics to show the folks in Clearview, near Gant Lake, near Dunn's Bridge, exactly what you need to be doing right now. Best possible thing on this list is to grab a helmet. You need something to protect your head. And look, this is the first of what will likely be many tornado warnings tonight. keep those tornado helmets handy. Small room near the center of your house, away from windows, away from doors. You want to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. And so let's make it happen if you're near Dunn's Bridge, Strawn, Clearview, or anywhere near Gant Lake. Let's go back over to LD1 and we'll show you the radar view in northern Covington County just to kind of get your geographical bearings straight. This is US Highway 29 that connects Brantley down to Andalusia and ultimately over to Bruton. No travel on 29 from the city of Andalusia up to Brantley, and no travel on Alabama Highway 55 from Red Level back into Andalusia. We also would encourage no travel on 331 from Fleta and Opp over here out of the warning all the way back up to Luverne. All right, so no travel on 331 from Luverne back down to Opp, as that corridor is involved in this active tornado warning that extends from Gant up to Brantley. Here's the deal: if you're in Andalusia, from this particular cell, we can safely give you an all clear, all right? So all clear for Andalusia. You are done with the tornado risk. It is clearly now to your north, and this is out near Strawn and Gant and Antioch and Dunn's Bridge right now. On the basically the bottom part of this cell right in through here is where we're watching with keen interest as this cell continues to move off to the northeast. Landon, if you'll take me over to the radar scope source, we'll show you the high-res velocity on this. And right there, that's your circulation. This is northern Covington County. This is Coffee County. Crenshaw, Butler is here. And so possible tornado is basically going to be right here, moving just like that. So on that trajectory, that's basically paralleling Highway 29, US Highway 29, coming into Crenshaw County over the next few minutes. And Landon, what are you seeing right now in terms of comments? Have we seen any reports of damage coming out of northern Covington County at this point? All right, that's good to hear. So no reports of damage just yet. We do note that we've got a new tornado warning. That's not for our area, but this is going to be for parts of Greene and George counties over in Mississippi. Let's go back over to LB2 if we can, please. And what we will do is show you the high-res radar view for our local area there. There's that new tornado warning. Here's George County, Mississippi. This is Greene County. And this is actually using the Birmingham radar, so let's switch it over to the Mobile radar for our local view. And again, new tornado warning for George and Greene over in Mississippi. That's not for our local area here in southwest Alabama or northwest Florida. This radar is lit up like a Christmas tree. You can see all of this color, which indicates numerous showers and thunderstorms approaching our area from the west. And I will say, like I told Landon a minute ago before we went on the air, this is going to be a long night, all right? We may be here for a while, and so grab some dinner, grab some popcorn, and buckle up, because this may be a long night ahead of us as we continue to track possible tornadoes over the next few hours. Let's go back over to LD1, again, tracking a possible tornado right now, and this is our main concern in Covington County, the northern part of Covington County. Possible tornado is near Gant Lake and also near Strawn, pushing to the northeast. The signature remains fairly notable in that we still are seeing good evidence of rotation in the atmosphere. Perhaps it's not as strong as it was when the warning was issued, but still could have a tornado on the ground somewhere near Gant and Strawn. And again, Landon, if you see anything notable, certainly don't hesitate to interrupt me. Look, if you know someone in Dozier, Rose Hill, Clearview, Gant, Strawn, or Brantley in Crenshaw County and northern Covington, tag those folks in the comments below. You have no idea how immensely helpful it is for you to tag folks that are in this tornado warning polygon. And like we said a minute ago, Andalusia technically is still involved in this red zone, in this polygon, but the threat at Andalusia is done, all right? So all clear from this tornado warning for the city of Andalusia. You don't need to be doing anything at this point. You can come out of that tornado warning hiding place if you're in Andalusia. And it's not going to be long until we're able to do the same thing in Strawn, but I would let's give it 3 more minutes in Strawn and we'll be able to give you an all clear. Interesting signature there on radar. Let's see how that lines up with the velocity. That may be a bounded weak echo region. If you take, Landon, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, please, sir. We'll look at that more intently. Yeah, and that very well, you see that little dot right there, that blue dot on the reflectivity. That may be what we call a BWER, a bounded weak echo region. In other words, kind of a donut-looking thing there. And that could be indicative of a mesocyclone. Yeah, right in through there. That's definitely a B-word coming into Dozier. All right, so Gant Lake, if you live on the lake, you need to stay sheltered. This could be a strengthening tornado coming into Dozier. Let's go back over in just a second. Yeah, there we go to LD1. And again, watching this cell coming into Dozier, Alabama from the southwest, looks like the greatest threat is going to be on the eastern side of Gant Lake, maybe just a bit removed from Highway 29, but I tell you, that thing's going to come right up on 29 as it approaches Dozier. So be in a safe place. If you're at Clearview, Dozier, even Rose Hill, if this thing were to veer just a little bit to the right, that's going to put it right on top of Rose Hill in northern Covington County. It should be emphasized that OP has never been included in this tornado warning. If you're at OP, you're fine. Same thing at Andalusia. The threat is over. Florella, Wing, Watkins Bridge, Carolina, Rome, Luango, no issues down here. Yes, these are showers, but you're fine in those communities that I just called out. Let's zoom into our storm because, again, we're tracking this in far northern Covington County. This is out there on the lake at this point. On Gant Lake, we may actually have a water spout right now. And Clearview is right here. You go down the road, you get into the town of Gant. You cross the bridge right there where the Gant Lake Dam empties into the Conecuh River before it goes into Point A. Go back up the hill, you get to the barbecue joint right there at Heath. Heath is now out. If you're at Heath, we'll give you a tornado all clear. You're done with the tornado threat in Heath. Same thing in Andalusia, same thing at River Falls. I see that we've got a tornadic debris signature over in Mississippi. That storm is ultimately going to cross into Alabama. And like I said, this is going to be a long night ahead. We are focusing on this storm in Covington County first because this is the one that has prompted the active tornado warning. All right, so we're focusing on this first. Let's go over to LD2 and we'll show you the wide view across the region. This is a supercell storm that's developed in northern Covington County, lifting off to the northeast. We've also got storms firing in parts of Escambia, Conecuh, southern Covington, and Monroe counties that could become problematic over the next hour. But right now, clearly the main threat that's going to cross our area later tonight is going to be this. This is a batch of storms that's developed back over southeast Mississippi that has produced some damage down around New Orleans about an hour ago. These storms are going to continue to work their way to the east, and as they do, we very well could see more in the way of damage. And Landon, I know you're monitoring the comments over there. For folks that are watching this on YouTube Live or Facebook Live, it is immensely helpful if your power goes out to let us know about it in the comments below. And Landon will relay that to me, and we'll get it relayed to our partners and the National Weather Service. But let us know if your power goes out. Let us know if you have damage. And it's always helpful just to comment and let us know what's going on in your location. Because look, what time is it? It's now 5:24 p.m. We're after sunset. Sunset happened at 4:46 p.m. And so we've entered darkness, which means these tornadoes are going to be incredibly difficult to see. You are not going to see these tornadoes tonight. Let's go back over to LD1. And again, if you're in Covington County, there is no way that you're going to see this possible tornado out over Gant Lake. There's just no way. There's not much lightning with this. And don't try to get a picture. Here's a polygon update to pass along. If you're in Gant, we'll give you an all clear. You're done with the imminent tornado risk at the town of Gant. Now, if you're on Gant Lake at Clearview or on the other side of the lake out towards Dunn's Bridge or the eastern shore, per se, of Gant Lake, you are still involved in this polygon. So you got to remain sheltered at Clearview. But again, we gave an all clear to Andalusia, River Falls, and Gant. And I think this also is going to be safe to, if you're at Strawn, if you live at or near Strawn High School, we'll give you an all clear. The tornado risk has clearly passed to your north at this point. And this is basically going to come right up on Dozier. If you know someone in Dozier, Alabama, that's southern Crenshaw County, tag them in the comments below, as we have an imminent tornado threat in the next 5 minutes in the town of Dozier, Alabama. Again, y'all know the drill. If I go silent, just bear with me. We've got many things going on. This is actually going out of our area, technically into Crenshaw County. We would love one day to be able to cover Crenshaw County in our primary coverage area, but Butler and Covington belong to us. Once you cross into Crenshaw, that becomes the territory of responsibility for the Montgomery, Alabama television stations. And so if you're in Dozier or Brantley, just know you are under a tornado warning. You're not if you're in Luverne. If you're at Luverne, you're fine right now, but the issues are farther to the south. By the way, if they continue this warning, Luverne may go under a tornado warning in about 5 to 10 minutes. So just watch that. We may get a tornado warning for Luverne, Alabama in Crenshaw County in the next little bit. Let's actually go back over to LD2. And we are tracking possible tornadoes this evening. This is a situation where we could have some strong tornadoes involved. And tell you what, there actually is a tornado warning that's just been issued for parts of Gulf County. And again, that's going to include areas near Apalachicola and Indian Pass. So let's kind of work these real quick. Just looking across our region, here is Gulf County, Florida. This is Port St. Joe. This is the Cape. You've got Indian Pass right here. This is St. Vincent's. You got Apalachicola, all those areas near a tornado warning. Indian Pass, areas near the Raw Bar, areas near 30A, that's technically 30A, Highway 30A, along with Highway 98 in Gulf County involved in that tornado warning. There's a separate tornado warning, and let's take down that banner because this is an active tornado warning out of our area for parts of Bay and Washington counties in the Florida Panhandle region. And so we're watching these with intense interest in the Florida Panhandle. Seaside is not included in that particular tornado warning. We're coming back into our local area and crossing into Mississippi. There also are active tornado warnings in effect for parts of Harrison, George, and Greene counties over here in Mississippi. So southern Harrison County, Biloxi, areas near Ocean Springs involved in this active tornado warning in Harrison County, Mississippi, and also parts of George County. This is going to include Loosedale. Here's Loosedale right here. This possible tornado is coming straight into Loosedale. In fact, let's actually go over, Landon, if we can, to the radar scope source, please, because we're going to look at this on velocity, and I think that's going to end up being one of the stronger signatures in our area. Let me check it on our correlation coefficient to see if we have any debris being lofted into the sky. There was a debris signature. That's a confirmed tornado right here over in Mississippi. It's kind of fizzled out over the last few frames, but again, you're looking at George County, Mississippi, possible tornado coming into the city of Loosedale. If you know someone in Loosedale, you need to call them right now and let them know there's an imminent danger zone. Let's go back over to LD2 as we now have, let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings in view across parts of South Alabama, Northwest Florida, Southeast Alabama, also the Florida Panhandle, and Mississippi. And so buckle up. This is going to be a long night. We got 5 tornado warnings right now. If you are watching this and you're in our primary coverage area in South Alabama or Northwest Florida, more warnings are likely over the next few hours. Ramping up quickly, Landon. We've got a lot of things going on here. Have you seen any reports of damage? None thus far. I have seen some reports back in Louisiana. I know we had a confirmed tornado doing damage earlier in the New Orleans metro. Call your folks if you have folks in the New Orleans metro. Check on them, make sure they're okay. There was a damaging tornado there earlier. And again, just watching our sources here, let's go back over to LD1 because this is actively crossing into Crenshaw County. All right, so if you're at Clearview, we'll give you an all clear. Clearview gets an all clear at this point. The tornado threat has passed. Same thing at Andalusia, same thing at Strawn. Done. D-O-N-E with tornado issues right now. We'll zoom in real tight. Here's the lake right in through here. Gant Lake, Dunn's Bridge is right here. The threat has now passed Dunn's Bridge, and you get a tornado all clear for now. There could be more tornadoes later, but the imminent tornado threat in northern Covington County is about to be completely out of the county to the north. Here's Rose Hill. It looks like this is going to miss Rose Hill just to the west, but Rose Hill is here. This is U.S. Highway 331. This is U.S. Highway 29. And this possible tornado is at Dozier right now, coming up 29 toward Brantley. And so the major call to action at this point is in southern Crenshaw County in Dozier and Brantley. If you know someone in those places, please call them and let them know there's an imminent tornado threat in those two communities. But again, the good news is in about 2 minutes, we'll be able to give the entirety of northern Covington County an all clear from this imminent tornado threat that is moving into southern Crenshaw County. We're also tracking cells in the southern part of the county that are under severe limits right now. Also looking at some cells in Escambia and Conecuh counties. These are under severe limits as well at the moment anyway, but we need to track them because all these storms are broadly rotating and will continue to do so over the next few minutes. Tell you what, Landon, let's go back over to the radar scope source, please, sir, because we're looking at West Alabama, just to get your bearings straight. Here's West Alabama. This is Washington County. Mobile County is here. And this cell in northern Washington is broadly rotating to the point that we really need to watch this as it comes into Clark County over the next few minutes. That could prompt a tornado warning for parts of Clark County near Coffeyville and Simcoe. And so if you know someone at Coffeyville or Simcoe over in West Alabama on the US Highway 84 corridor, call them and let them know they may get a tornado warning over the next little bit. Let's go back over to LD2 and we'll put our local radar into motion as we're counting now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings in our part of the world as of 5:33 p.m. Harrison County, George County, Greene County, far northern Covington, far southern Crenshaw, parts of Bay and Washington counties in the Florida Panhandle, and parts of Gulf and Franklin counties down around Apalachicola and the Indian Pass Raw Bar are included in all these tornado warnings that are happening right now. Look at your lightning strikes. Look at that number right there. About 1,000 strikes of lightning just in this view over the last 10 minutes. So these storms are cranking out some thunder and lightning, and they're going to be loud and proud tonight. So again, this is going to be a long evening. Certainly going to be here a while as we continue to track these possible tornadoes. And Landon, do you have my 2016 MacBook as a source? Is that available?
Yes.
All right, let's take that full and we'll show you. This is a water spout that happened a bit earlier. This was out on Choctawhatchee Bay. You can see the large circulation here. This was from let's see, Jesse Williamson earlier, and this is the type of stuff that's going to happen tonight. But here's the deal. You can take me back over to LD2. You can see that tornado or that water spout was very visible from Mid-Bay Bridge, but we're not going to have that luxury tonight. These storms are going to be rain wrapped. The tornadoes will be rain wrapped, and we probably will have a situation where none of these tornadoes are visible. That's very likely in the overnight hours. And keep in mind, these nocturnal tornadoes, I tell you what, they are very, very dangerous. One of the number one worries that I have in situations like this is that folks are going to not heed the warning and just get out and travel and think nothing of this. This is a level 4 risk day. This is a big risk day that only happens once or twice a year max. And we hope that folks have kind of battened down the hatches. We've got a new tornado warning to tell you about, and this is going to be for parts of Washington and Clark counties over in West Alabama. And so, tell you what, let's go back over to LD1. I do want to do one thing before we shift over there. We'll give an all clear to northern Covington County. If you're in Covington County, Alabama, all clear. This is now strictly a threat for Crenshaw County. However, we have a new separate tornado warning that has just come on the board for parts of West Alabama. And let's show you that because this is so new that it's just now coming on our radar system and hasn't appeared as a polygon just yet. There it is. In fact, let's take off the data here if we can do that. There we go. and you see that this is a new tornado warning that's just been issued for parts of Clark and Washington counties. This is going to be until 6:15 local time, and this is a radar indicated tornado down around Milry and Yarbo. This is that storm that I referenced several minutes ago, and we'll turn our radar back on because this is rapidly moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. And so what we need to do is get out an alert to Washington County, Alabama, and again, this warning is going to be in effect until 6:15 p.m. So 6:15 p.m. for Washington County, and this is going to include Coffeyville. If you're at Coffeyville or Simcoe, you need to be taking action to protect yourself, as we have a possible tornado currently in Washington County pushing off to the northeast. All right, and getting those alerts out. So now that we've done that, let's talk about who's involved in this new tornado warning. Again, valid until 6:15 p.m. If you're in Milry, if you're in Yarbo, if you are in Loper, Coffeyville, Simcoe, also areas near Opine. You've also got Simcoe, McIntyre, Chilton, Tatlersville, Alabama Highway 69 extending from West Bend and Coffeyville back down to Silitpa involved in this new tornado warning. This does not, I repeat, this does not include Jackson or Grove Hill, all right? So Jackson and Grove Hill and Thomasville. If you're in Thomasville, you're okay right now. This could become an issue for you in Thomasville if it holds its strength, all right? So could have an issue in Thomasville in the next hour, but just know right now this storm is in Washington County, about to cross the Tombigbee River, coming into areas near Coffeyville and Silitpa over in West Alabama and Clark County over the next few minutes. Let's go back over to our high-res velocity view on radar scope, and we'll show you, there's the cell that's prompted this right here. That is a couplet, and when I say couplet, that means that the radar sees the hydrometeors, or in other words, the rain happening in this storm. This is rotation, and when you see rotation like this, this is a mesocyclone that has prompted a tornado warning for parts of Washington, southern Choctaw, and Clark counties. Back over to LD1, and I should mention as well, for Covington County, all clear, all right? All clear for Covington County right now. You may get another tornado warning a bit later, but right now we just have this tornado warning over in West Alabama for parts of Washington, Clark, and Choctaw counties. This thing is moving just like this, like a train on a track, moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. And again, we're watching this with keen interest because we could have damaging tornadoes that are on the ground for a very long time today. I'm actually going to step off camera briefly and grab one thing here that we need for our continuing coverage. Again, tracking a possible tornado in West Alabama, in parts of Washington, Clark, and Choctaw counties now under the gun from this possible tornado currently happening near Milry and areas near Loper, near the Alabama Highway 17 corridor. Current time is at 5:39 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson, joined alongside Landon Barentine. We certainly thank him for his service this evening. And again, it's going to be a long night, so just buckle up, pop some popcorn, grab some dinner before this gets bad across much of our region. And we're going to get you through it as we continue to track these storms that are working their way in from the west. It's been a long day of coverage in the Red Zone Weather app, and we've now shifted to this live stream where we continue to monitor these storms that are working their way in from the west. And again, over the next few hours, this is going to be more of the same. So this is not a situation that's going to go away quickly. And just got a message from our friends at the Weather Service. They are in the process of coordinating a new tornado watch for the remainder of our local area. I've had a ton of questions about that today as to if we're going to get a tornado watch for the remaining counties. It looks like we are. And so just know you're probably going to get an alert on your phone for a new tornado watch for parts of northwest Florida and south central Alabama. Let's zoom in quickly to this storm over in Crenshaw County. This is the reason that we came on the air. Let's go back over to LD2, and we'll show you that this storm has now cleared into Crenshaw County. Possible tornado at Brantley is going to move towards Glenwood over the next few minutes. There it is. There's a polygon update. Northern Covington County, all clear at this point. So if you missed that earlier, we are calling an all clear for Northern Covington County. Back over to LD1, please, sir. And we're going back to our current storm in West Alabama. So you're looking at the large view across our region, zooming into this part of the world, Clark, Washington, Choctaw counties. Possible tornado is very near Alabama Highway 17, coming into areas near Frankville, just to the north of St. Stephen's, going to cross the Tombigbee River somewhere near Tatlersville and Coffeyville over the next 15 to 20 minutes. And if you remember a few weeks ago when we had that severe weather event, those storms were racing off to the northeast at like 50 miles an hour. That is somewhat of an anomaly, and storms tonight are, frankly, not doing that. They're moving a bit slower. The good news, however, with that is that the overall system is probably going to get out of here a little bit actually ahead of schedule. And I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it does look like that we will see these storms get out of our area probably around 1 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. So that certainly is a good thing. Checking on these storms as well in the Florida Panhandle. We'll go back to those in just a little bit, but we've got to remain on this storm in West Alabama. That's the reason that we are here. Anytime there's an active tornado warning for Washington or Clark counties in West Alabama, we go live and we stay live until the warning has passed. And right now, the current imminent tornado threat is happening in northern Washington County. Let's go back over, there we go, to our velocity view. And I tell you what, this thing is right now impacting areas near Silver Cross and Frankville, and frankly, Bigby as well. Possible tornado is here. It looks like this is actually a newer circulation that has developed on the northern edge of this polygon, and we may, depending on the actual storm motion, this is moving just like this. And so this looks like it may be more of a threat for Coffeyville as opposed to areas farther south like Salitpa. And so possible tornado is here in northern Washington, about to cross into Choctaw counties, or county, I should say. And look, this is not going to impact Gilbertown, Silas, or Butler. Butler is here. Here's Needham. This is Lisbon. Yantlee is up here. And so Pennington is up there as well, near the paper mill. And so this is not going to impact those communities. This is strictly down here in the far southern part of Choctaw County involved in this tornado warning. And the focus is going to shift into Clark County in a matter of moments. Coffeyville, Tatlersville, McIntyre, Alabama Highway 154, Alabama Highway 69. Under the gun from a possible tornado down here in Washington County near Silver Cross, moving just like that. This is going to cross the Tombigbee River, I should say, very near the Coffeyville Lock and Dam. And so if you know someone that lives near the Coffeyville Lock and Dam, let them know that we have an active tornado warning that continues for the next few minutes. Some good news to pass along. The Weather Service is going to be canceling the tornado watch for Perry and Stone and Wayne counties back here in Mississippi, as these communities back here are about to get an all clear. That's the way the game works tonight. Once the main line of storms passes through your location, you will get an all clear. Now, it may kind of seem preliminary for that, but that's just the way it works. Once these bigger storms move through your location, the surface-based instability, or CAPE, convective available potential energy, goes down to 0, and all this mess back here near Hattiesburg is under severe limits. This is the leading edge, and so basically from this leading edge and all this mess out here, this is in a volatile atmosphere that's capable of supporting a few tornadoes. And so basically once you get through the main line, you're done for the night. That's the way it's going to work over the next few hours. I see this is out of our area, but we have a new tornado warning down here in parts of Jackson and Harrison counties. in Mississippi. So let's check on that briefly, and then we'll go back to our storm in Washington and Clark. If you know someone at Gulfport or Biloxi in Mississippi, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below. Imminent tornado threat at Biloxi, near the casinos, near Interstate 10. Possible tornado coming in just like that, moving to the northeast. This is Jackson and Harrison counties in Mississippi. And keep in mind, this will ultimately potentially be an issue for northern Mobile County if it holds its strength. And so watching this situation down in Mississippi very carefully. Going back up to our storm in Washington and Clark counties here in West Alabama. Possible tornado has now entered Choctaw County, and it does look like this thing is going to be very near Coffeyville over the next few minutes. So again, this is Choctaw County. Possible tornado is here near the county line between Choctaw and Washington County, and it's moving just like this, all right? So watching this very carefully over in West Alabama. And Landon, I have not seen anything yet in the way of damage. Hopefully we'll keep it that way. You got anything for me over there? No. And that's good. Y'all keep hearing me reference Landon. Landon Barentine is joining us this evening as our executive producer. He's done a phenomenal job. We've had a lot of active weather over the last few weeks, and he has certainly risen to the occasion in terms of being here for our coverage. We certainly appreciate him. And he is watching the comments below. So if you have something to share, let him know. He'll get that to me and we'll pass it along. Certainly if your power goes out, that is one of the most critical things, because we watch the power outage reports to see if we have any actual tornado damage transpiring. Again, the map view in front of you is West Alabama. Choctaw County is here. Washington County is here. This is Clark County. Got a new radar scan about to come by. Possible tornado is going to be right in through here, coming into Coffeyville near the Tombigbee River over the next few minutes. Let's watch this. There it comes. And again, possible tornado is basically at the intersection, the triple point between Clark, Choctaw, and Washington counties. We should note, we do have ongoing tornado warnings in parts of Crenshaw, Washington, Bay, and Gulf counties over in northwest Florida. It's now 5:48 p.m. and we've got a situation that we're buckling in for a long night with multiple tornadoes being possible over the next few hours. Possible tornado currently near Silver Cross in West Alabama. All right, say that again. Oh, so we got someone in Silver Cross, which is right here, telling us that we have a power outage. And so that would suggest that we've got something going on. Now, it's the middle of the night, and I say it's the middle of the night. We're almost to the middle of the night. It's going to be the middle of the night before you know it, but we have darkness outside. And so we can't confirm whether there's a tornado happening, but we know from someone watching that we've got a power outage happening now at Silver Cross, which is in northern Washington County. And yeah, so I tell you, I'm seeing some comments as well over on YouTube that suggest that we may have some strong winds happening near that same area as well. And I tell you, let's go back over to the iPad view, or excuse me, the radar scope source, because the Weather Service is now calling this an observed tornado. Yep, and there it is. So this is, you can put up the, this is a tornado on the ground at this point. We got a tornado on the ground coming into Coffeyville, and so this is an urgent call to action. This is a life-threatening situation coming into Coffeyville and areas near the U.S. Highway 84 corridor, as we have a confirmed tornado happening near Coffeyville. A confirmed tornado on the ground near Coffeyville. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to escalate our app alert system for Clark County and let them know that we now have a confirmed tornado on the ground approaching Coffeyville. And so let's kind of talk through this, because this is not the traditional radar source as you know it. That right there, I know it doesn't look like much, but this is the area of concern. And basically what we're doing here, is seeing debris that is being lofted into the sky. This is the debris tracker product, and what we're seeing is basically pieces of houses, timber that's being lofted high into the atmosphere, probably at about 5,000 or 6,000 feet at this angle. And again, I can't stress enough, if you know someone at Coffeyville, Alabama, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below. This is a very serious and potentially dire situation happening over in West Alabama. And this confirmed tornado now is going to come very near the Highway 84 corridor, coming into areas near Coffeyville, Simcoe, McIntyre in Clark County. A confirmed serious situation with a look at that, and it's continuing basically on the edge of that polygon near Coffeyville. Coming into areas near Alabama Highway 69. If you know anything that I'm talking about over here, if this is registering with you in terms of you living near these spots that I'm calling out, take action. Protect yourself. This is a big, big deal. Could have serious damage with that. We know that there's damage happening. There's no doubt about it. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground, and this is coming into Coffeyville. Let's go back over to LD1, and this polygon has been trimmed back. And we'll give you some good news. If you are in Washington County, all clear. Washington County, all clear. The threat is in Clark and Choctaw counties. And so Coffeyville, areas near McIntyre, Tatlersville, be in a safe place. You need to be putting on a tornado helmet, something to protect your head, as we have a confirmed tornado doing damage near Coffeyville. Let's go back over to radar scope. And again, tracking this over in West Alabama. Current time is 5:52 p.m. Classic tornado time here, because we've got so much instability in the atmosphere at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evenings, and that's what we're seeing here. A confirmed tornado is happening near Coffeyville, and we need you to be in a safe place right now if you're in West Alabama. Now let me say this, because I've already seen some comments about this. If we're not talking about you, you don't need to be doing anything, all right? We don't, I don't want to waste time talking about areas that are not under the gun. It's not that we're ignoring you. We'll get to you if you have a warning. But right now, the imminent tornado threat in our primary coverage area is happening in Clark County, Alabama. And this is a confirmed tornado near Bladen Springs in Choctaw County right here, coming into Coffeyville, crossing the Tombigbee River very near the lock and dam. And so please, I can't stress enough, be in a safe place if you're in Coffeyville, Tatlersville, McIntyre, or Simcoe. You need to take action to protect yourself. I realize that, with folks that have kids running around, it's inconvenient to get your kid and put them in a safe place, but kids, adults, you gotta have a helmet on. Same thing with the pets. Don't forget about your pets. The dogs and cats need to be in the tornado safe place with you if you're at Coffeyville or areas near Simcoe or McIntyre. Current time, 5:54 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Landon Barentine. And let's go back over to LD1 and show you this on reflectivity, the classic radar view. And again, this is only for northern Clark, parts of northern Clark, and far southern Choctaw counties in West Alabama. I should mention as well, we do have an active tornado warning near Brantley, Alabama in southern Crenshaw County. We'll see if the Weather Service decides to extend that. Tornado warning for Washington County, Florida, and for parts of Gulf and Franklin counties in the Florida Panhandle. So we've got a lot of things going on. Another tornado warning for Biloxi and areas near Gulfport. Same thing in parts of Jackson County and Harrison counties. That's that same tornado warning happening in coastal Mississippi. But again, the reason that we are here is this confirmed, ongoing, active situation coming into Clark County. This is a confirmed tornado. The Weather Service is calling this a radar-confirmed tornado, and we see why. Landon, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, please, sir. We see a tornadic debris signature. And again, I know that this looks like a bucket of spilled paint to 99% of people, but that little blue dot that you see is tornado debris that's being thrown up into the sky from what could be a large, significant tornado. And keep in mind, this is a night where these things may be down on the ground for quite some time. And so just hang out with us for the next several hours. We're going to be here for a while, I expect. as we continue to track this confirmed tornado in West Alabama. Let's go back over to LB1 and we'll show you that this thing is basically right at Coffeyville. We'll zoom out a bit and look, if this thing holds its strength, this is going to be an issue for Thomasville and areas near Tallahassee Springs and Opine in about 20 minutes. We may have to get a new tornado warning for Thomasville, and so I'm putting you on notice. If you know someone at Thomasville, tag them in the comments below as we have a confirmed tornado at Coffeyville, and this is a classic tornado track right down Alabama Highway 154 coming into Thomasville. In fact, I've got folks in Thomasville, and I'm going to do exactly what we tell you to do and put my folks on notice that we have a possible, or excuse me, I apologize, a confirmed tornado near Coffeyville approaching Thomasville. And so these things are brilliant. If you have family in Coffeyville, Alabama, text them, call them, tag them right now. You would be floored how many people don't get these. Look at that, just like that. Here's a new tornado warning being issued right now for Clark County, just what we've been talking about. And I bet you that's going to include Thomasville. Let's see what they do with this. Yes, this is going to include, actually no, I apologize. This is a separate tornado warning down here in Washington County. And so we have a new separate tornado warning that's just come on the board for parts of Washington and Clark. We'll come back to our storm up here in Clark County near Coffeyville in the next little bit, but we're working this storm down in Washington County because this is an active new tornado warning that has just come on the board for areas south of Chatham. This is going to be near Tibby over the next few minutes. And so we're getting out a new tornado warning. And I tell you what, we've also got, and Landon, we'll come back to this, so let's hang here on this new tornado warning for a bit, but we've also got a new tornado watch down in Northwest Florida to tell you about. We'll come back to that in a minute, I promise, but the first thing we need to do is get out this new separate tornado warning because this is going to be on the board until 6:45 p.m. for parts of West Alabama, specifically parts of Clark and Washington counties. And so a new tornado warning just being issued. This is going to include the city of Jackson. So if you're at Jackson, you're now under a tornado warning. Same thing at Leroy. If you're at Leroy, you're under a tornado warning. Get to a safe place now. This thing is moving towards you at a very rapid rate of speed. This thing is moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour. This thing's moving really fast, kind of like the storms that we had about a week ago. And again, this new tornado warning is going to be for southern Clark County. So this is a tornado warning for Jackson and surrounding areas. Just sending that out in the Red Zone Weather app, Clark County, Alabama. And I do want to zoom out on our other source here while we watch this and show you that we have a new tornado watch that has just been issued. So I tell you what, Landon, if you'll take me over briefly, there we go, to our new map, because what the deal here is, we've got a new tornado watch that's just come on the board for the remaining counties. And so particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch for Washington, Clark, Monroe, Mobile, Baldwin counties, Choctaw, Marengo, and Wilcox counties. PDS, particularly dangerous situation over here in southwest Alabama. The remainder of us have a new tornado watch, and that one's going to be valid until 1 a.m. local time for all of northwest Florida, the Florida Panhandle, southeast Alabama, and south central Alabama, Escambia, Conecuh, Butler, Crenshaw, Covington, Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, Escambia, Florida, all involved in a new tornado watch valid until 1 a.m. And so we have a new tornado watch that has just been issued for the remaining counties. And so we've now escalated to the point that all of us have an active tornado watch. Just getting out that new tornado watch message that's going to expire at 1 a.m. We'll go back to our storm in Washington County. Let's go back over to LD1. Yeah, there we go. And Landon's ahead of the game. We certainly appreciate his service this evening. That's good. And watching this storm coming into Tibby, all right? If you know someone at Tibby, Alabama, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below as we continue to watch this situation over in West Alabama. Tell you what, let's put this into motion while we kind of analyze what we've got going on here. Tell you what, that mouse is not really wanting to cooperate with me this evening for some reason. Tell you what, Landon, I'm going to set it up on our alternate source here. If you'll take me back over to LD2, that one is cooperating a bit better. So we're tracking multiple tornado warnings, one of which is in effect for northern Clark County, confirmed tornado near Coffeyville. And that's the one I want to go back to because if you're in Coffeyville, McIntyre, areas near Zimco, down here, Zimco is now out of the polygon. I apologize. Zimco is out of the polygon. Tatlersville is also out, but Coffeyville is in. Same thing at McIntyre. You are involved in this active tornado warning due to what was a confirmed tornado. It looks like that signature, yeah, let's go back over to the radar scope source. Same view here, but the tornadic debris signature is gone, and so that's a good thing. We're going to have to call this a possible tornado at this point, is happening near Coffeyville. And so Coffeyville remains sheltered. Same thing at McIntyre. Let's go back down to our storm here. Ooh, yeah, look at that. That is a classic mesocyclone. And when I say that, what that means is this is one of these supercell storms that has ramped up. And same exact area that was hit by that EF3 tornado just, a week or two ago, has come under the gun yet again from a possible tornado. Tibby, Chatham, areas near, let's say Sunflower, Wagerville, Leroy, Jackson. Be sheltered right now. Checking on a few other things here. I want to check this storm in northern Covington. Yeah, that one's okay right now. We'll go back to our storms in West Alabama. And look, there actually is a separate circulation happening near Milry that also warrants our attention. And so we're tracking 3 circulations, one of which is now in Clark. Here's one in Washington, and here's one that arguably is the most dangerous one near Alabama Highway 17. And so watching this very carefully, in West Alabama. Let's go back over to LD2 and put the classic radar view up for you, because again, this will kind of show you where we've come from and where we're headed. This storm in northern Clark continues to be a problem, all right? So we're calling this a possible tornado, and this was a confirmed tornado down around Bladen Springs, crossed 84, crossed the Tom Bigby, now it's in Clark, moving towards Opine. Second circulation is down here. This is near Tibby. This is going to be an issue for Wagerville, Leroy, and Jackson over the next few minutes, all right? So watching these cells in West Alabama, Landon, have you seen anything in the last few minutes in terms of damage over here in West Alabama? No, okay. Any power outages to report? No. Okay, good. Hopefully we'll keep it that way, and hopefully the deal here is that these storms are broadly rotating in the atmosphere to the point that maybe they're not producing a tornado. We don't have a confirmation at this specific moment that these storms are necessarily doing damage, but just because we don't doesn't mean that damage isn't happening, if that makes sense. What I mean by that, it's, we're in darkness at this point. You can't see these storms because of all the rain. You're not going to be able to see them tonight. And we need folks that are in these tornado warning polygons to treat this as a dangerous situation. We know that the atmosphere is volatile tonight and capable of supporting potentially a few strong, potentially long track, significant tornadoes. And that may be what we are seeing here about to transpire in parts of Washington and Clark counties. And so again, current time is now 6:05 p.m. We'll check on our storm down here in Mississippi. This is Harrison and Jackson counties down in southern Mississippi. Possible tornado has now crossed into Jackson County, Mississippi, moving just like that. On that trajectory, that may be an issue ultimately for George and Mobile counties down the road. All right, so we'll watch that one carefully. These storms mean business tonight, and they're not going away. We may have more tornado warnings across our region over the next several hours. I see that we've got a polygon update for this storm in Clark County. Let's go back up here and let me check on that circulation. It'll be interesting to see if the Weather Service decides to extend that or not, because if they do, that's going to be an issue for parts of Thomasville, Opine, areas near Springfield, Sunny South. You've also got Sand Flat and Fulton. I'm putting you on notice. Just know you may get a tornado warning if this holds its strength. 6:06 p.m. And also tracking this storm down in Washington County, coming into areas near Tibby, basically at Tibby right now, coming into Wagerville, Sunflower, Leroy, and Jackson. Those communities next in line to see this possible tornado that's currently happening in Washington County, Alabama. Let me pan across the region on the iPad just to see if we've got anything in the way of significant storms that may be about to prompt a separate tornado warning. I don't see anything in these storms in parts of Conecuh, Covington, Butler, and Crenshaw County, so that's a good thing. Watching these cells very carefully, though, in West Alabama. So let's kind of focus in on what we have right now, because we've got active tornado warnings for 2 in Clark County, 1 in Washington County. And look, this is a deal where the circulation in Tibby has really ramped up. Let's go back over to LD1. And again, Tibby, Alabama. If you know someone at Tibby, this is a tornado warning for you, and this one means business. This is a strong mesocyclone on the velocity data here, and we need folks in Tibby to be in their tornado-safe place. Lowest floors, site-built structure, away from windows and doors. We want you to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Tibby, Alabama. Make it happen. Get to a safe place now, as just like what we had a few weeks ago, we may have a tornado on your doorstep. And so please get sheltered if you are in the Tibby area in Washington County. This thing is going to come down the pike, approaching areas near State Highway 56. So just to get your bearings straight, this is going to be Alabama Highway 17. This is State Highway 56. And that thicker line that you see over near Jackson is US Highway 43. So here's Highway 43. All those areas near Jackson, Alabama, be sheltered. Again, you want to be on the lowest floor. You don't want to go up. You want to go down during a tornado warning. Basement if you have one. If you don't have one, do the next best thing. You need to be in a site-built structure away from windows and away from doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Jackson, Leroy, Toddtown, Silitpa, make it happen. Those areas that I'm calling out remain under the gun from a possible tornado here in Washington County coming to the northeast toward, and I tell you, this thing's going to be on Jackson, Alabama. I'm really concerned about Toddtown, Jackson, Wagerville, and Leroy. I mean, this thing is racing to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. Let's see if we can also go back over to our storm. Landon, if you'll take me over to LD2, we'll look at this storm in northern Clark County. Possible tornado is at McIntyre right now, coming into McIntyre. We will see if the Weather Service decides to extend this tornado warning into Thomasville. And I'm getting a message from a buddy in Birmingham, and he's noting a really great point that this area is just a total disaster in terms of the radar coverage. When the NextRad radar sites were built some years ago, this is a classic radar hole, which means the low-level scans in here are not low-level. This is hitting these storms at 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7,000 feet, which makes it incredibly hard to issue tornado warnings specifically for Marengo, Choctaw, Clark, and even parts of Washington counties. And again, these nocturnal tornadoes are just incredibly dangerous. You can't see them coming. You wouldn't be able to see them anyway during the day because they're all rain wrapped at this point. But again, this issue is specifically for McIntyre right now, coming into Opine and Thomasville. We'll see if northern Clark County goes under the gun from a separate tornado warning. That is possible over the next few minutes. But the imminent threat right now, as of 6:10 p.m., is in Washington County, Alabama, near Tibby, near Seaboard, coming into areas near Wagerville. Let's go back over to the radar scope source because this thing is right about here, very near the airport on the eastern side of Chatham. So here's Chatham right here. That airport sits along State Highway 56, and if you are near the Chatham airport, you need to be in a safe place. If you live within, say, 3 miles of the airport on the eastern side of Chatham, be in a safe place. Same thing on State Highway 56, same thing on US Highway 43. This is Highway 43 over there. And again, Jackson, Leroy, Wagerville, Sunflower, be in a safe place. Possible tornado is moving just like this toward Sunflower, Wagerville, then Leroy, then Jackson, Tombigbee River, ultimately Toddtown, and Silitpa. And so tracking this thing over in Washington County, Alabama. Looks like that northern circulation, by the way, up near Coffeyville has weakened a bit, kind of cycled out, and so that's a good thing. I wouldn't be shocked one way or the other if the Weather Service decided to extend that tornado warning. We'll see what they do about that. Let's go back over to our LD2 source, please, sir, and we will show you a wide view of what's happening across the region, because we do have now 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings Harrison, Jackson counties in Mississippi, parts of Clark and Washington counties in West Alabama. We note that we've got a tornado warning down around Apalachicola for parts of Gulf and Franklin counties. Severe thunderstorm warnings in place for parts of Washington and Jackson counties in the Florida Panhandle. And so several warnings down there. We will let the Tallahassee TV stations take care of them, because again, the reason we are here is this deal in West Alabama. 2 separate tornado warnings. Yeah, and they're going to let this northern warning go, which is a good call. This has broadened out. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. And what's going to happen here, instead of extending the warning downwind into Thomasville like that, the Weather Service has decided to expire the tornado warning. And so the threat is diminishing near McIntyre, Opine, and Thomasville. So that's a good thing. This storm in northern Clark continues to weaken, but the storm in the southern side of the county, currently in Washington County, coming into southern Clark, is the one that we're concerned about. So this is Washington County, Alabama, and this possible tornado is very near the airport out on the eastern side of Chatham, coming into Wagerville, Leroy, and Jackson over the next few minutes. And again, we would encourage folks in all those areas to be in a tornado-safe place. What that means is get underground if you can. We know a lot of you can't, and that's okay. Do the next best thing. Helmets on, lowest floor, site-built structure, away from windows and doors. You want to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. And look, I try to go through and read each and every comment, even if, sometimes we get 4,000 or 5,000 comments on these live streams, and I try to go through and read each one of them. And I say that to say, occasionally you'll see someone, let's go back over to LB1, by the way, while we track this tornado warning. This is the classic radar view. I say that to say, we know that I know that I'm repeating myself, all right? But the way the game works, we've got folks coming in the live stream and out of the live stream. And so I have to repeat myself as the warning progresses. We're not trying to, bore you or something like that, but we do want to give you the most up-to-date information, and we want to give you all clear information when we can. And speaking of that, at this time, it is prudent to say that we can give northern Clark County a complete all clear from this tornado warning. And so this is now off the board. In a minute, it's going to go off our system, but it's already gone on my in-house system. Coffeyville, Tatlersville, Opine, McIntyre, Zimco. Right now, you're all clear. This warning is done. And so you can stick a fork in it. This one's done in northern Clark County. The reason we are here exclusively at this point is because of this. This is a tornado warning that continues until, 6:45 p.m. for parts of Washington and Clark counties over here in West Alabama. Possible tornado is approaching Wagerville from the southwest. If you're in Wagerville, you need to be implementing that tornado safety plan right now. Checking a few things here to see what we've got going on. And Landon, if you will, check our audio on the right side of the screen there. Are we still good? We've got audio feed. Yeah. And again, watching this situation in West Alabama very carefully as we have a possible tornado coming into Wagerville, Leroy, and Jackson from the southwest. This cell is moving to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, and the imminent call to action is for Wagerville at this point. First community in line, State Highway 56. You're under an active tornado warning. This road that you see right here coming out of the airport and out of Chatham, this is State Highway 56, and you're looking at Washington County, Alabama. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, and you'll see that on the velocity view, this is your circulation. Basically, I mean just to the east of Chatham. If you're in Chatham proper, you're not involved in the tornado warning, but if you're out at the Chatham airport, you are involved. And so we're watching this cell in Washington County very carefully, pushing up the pike towards Jackson over the next few minutes. Current time is 6:16 p.m. on this Wednesday evening. Let's go back over to LD2, and we'll show you that we have an ongoing, particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch that continues for parts of West Alabama, a new tornado watch now in progress for many more counties to the east. The good news is all of this mess is going to come to an end by the time we get to 1 a.m. And I think maybe even before that, we may be able to give you an all clear across the entirety of our local area. This is a dangerous weather setup tonight. And what I want to do, Landon, if you will, I want you to be able to swivel that far right monitor around carefully, not to hit the other one, so that I can show our folks what to expect. Yeah, there we go. Perfect, right there. Thank you. Over the next few hours. And so let's go over to our graphic source. And again, we have this ongoing level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk that continues for much of West Alabama. Once storms move into northwest Florida and south central Alabama, the threat is a bit more, let's say, confined in nature, maybe a bit diminished, but not by much. And so, again, it's a level 4 risk day, meaning we all need to have a way to get warnings. Look, these colors and numbers, it doesn't mean anything at this point. We're tracking the real deal in terms of these thunderstorms, and, we're all in a significant severe weather risk tonight. And so it does not matter if you're in the orange or the yellow or the red. It's a big, big deal in terms of what we've got going on. Here's the projected radar as we look ahead. By the time we get to 8 o'clock, storms near the I-65 corridor. And then the good news is, like I said, by, say, 1 o'clock in the morning, all the mess will be to our east. Let's go back over to LD1, and we're tracking a storm in West Alabama that may be producing a possible tornado very near the State Highway 56 corridor, coming into Wagerville over the next few minutes. Let me actually look on our NWS chat feed to see what we've got going on. And at this point, I really don't see anything in the way of damage reports coming into the Weather Service, and so that certainly is a good thing. Landon, I have to check again and ask you, have we seen anything in the way of noteworthy damage comments or anything like that? No? Okay. And that's what we want. We don't want damage, but if you have damage, you need to let us know so that we can pass that along. We certainly appreciate all of the reports coming in. And I should mention as well, St. Stephen's and areas near Salitpa, near the Tombigbee River, those areas technically are included in this tornado warning as well. And so St. Stephen's, Wagerville, Jackson, Leroy, Sunflower, Salitpa, Toddtown, all under the gun from this possible tornado. If you know someone in those areas, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below, and let them know that we've got a serious situation with a possible tornado coming in from the southwest. I mean, this is a mess in terms of what you see on radar, and I say a mess, you cannot see anything with what we're looking at right now. And so what I want to do, this is, rain just everywhere over here in West Alabama. And I say that to say it's tough to see the signature. And so let's go back over to the radar scope source and we'll show you. You can see it very clearly on the velocity view. There's your mesocyclone right here. And I say mesocyclone because that's technically what we're looking at on radar. You cannot see a tornado necessarily on radar. You can just see indications of one. And we see an indication here that we have a couplet, a mesocyclone, coming into areas near Wagerville, St. Stephen's, Silitpa, Jackson, Leroy over the next 5 minutes. The good news is, if you are at Tibby, we'll give you an all clear. Let's go back over to LD1 and we'll show you that Tibby gets an all clear. So Tibby is out of the polygon. Also, I want to mention as well one more time, northern Clark County. You may get another tornado warning a bit later, but for now, there is no imminent tornado threat at Coffeyville, McIntyre, Simcoe, Opine, or Thomasville. So all clear at the moment anyway in parts of northern Clark County. The issues are in southern Clark County, near Jackson, near Leroy, near Sunflower. You're under the gun. Same thing at St. Stephen's. You are under the gun from a possible tornado moving in from the southwest. And let me mention as well, because I've seen it again in the last few minutes, if you're in northwest Florida, south central Alabama, Mobile, or Baldwin counties, we will focus on you when we have a warning, if we have a warning for you tonight. Hopefully we won't, but that's when we focus on you. We have to stay with the active danger threat because this is where life and property are in imminent danger over in West Alabama. We don't say that to scare you, but we do say that because that's our policy around here. If you have a tornado warning, we're going to cover you, and if you don't, we're going to not, all right? And so just hang tough and we'll get there. If we have a warning for you, I promise we'll cover it if you're in our local area. But right now, as of 6:22 p.m., the only active tornado warning that we have for any part of southwest Alabama or northwest Florida is happening here in Washington and Clark counties in southwest Alabama. Yeah, let's look at that temperature map briefly because this really tells the tale of what we've got going on. Look, temperatures are in the 70s. And I'm going to say this is kind of cliche maybe, but if you've stepped outside and you're in my area, our area, it feels like severe weather. You know what I'm talking about. The air is very sticky, it's very moist, it's very supportive of severe storms tonight. I mean, I tell you, it's one of those deals, you can just step out and feel how heavy the air is, and that's what we've got going on here. You see our cold front that's prompted all this nasty weather already in the 50s in Jackson, Mississippi, 57 at Hattiesburg, just ahead of the front, 70 degrees at Biloxi. And so that's why we've got these active tornado warnings in progress out ahead of the cold front boundary. So at 6:23 p.m., let's talk about who's involved in a warning. Washington and Clark counties in West Alabama. We also note that we have severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning over in the Florida Panhandle. Parts of Washington County, Florida, Jackson County, Florida, also parts of Franklin and Gulf counties here in the Florida Panhandle, active severe thunderstorm warnings. And it looks like what's happening here, we've got a tornado warning, I mean just to the north of Apalachicola, not by much, but just to the north of Apalachicola, a separate tornado warning. But the reason we are here is this. We've got an imminent tornado threat coming into Leroy, St. Stephen's, Wagerville, and Jackson over in West Alabama. I'll turn the radar data back on so that you can see this is a nasty thunderstorm that could be producing a tornado. If nothing else, it's producing damaging wind gusts up to say 70 or 80 miles an hour, no doubt about that, as this comes to the northeast. And I tell you, this is going to be near St. Stephen's and more of an issue for St. Stephen's. We've got a new tornado warning to tell you about. This is in fact, there it is, new tornado warning for parts of Clark and Washington counties. And so what's happened here, the circulation has veered off a bit to the north, and you see that we have an active tornado warning, a new warning that's going to be an extension of this old warning. And let's click on this and see, this is until 7 o'clock. And so possible tornado has veered a little bit to the left, and this is going to be in effect until 6:45 p.m. And so what I need to do is send out yet another app alert for our friends in Washington County, Alabama. This is a new tornado warning until 6:45 local time for parts of Washington County, Alabama, sending that one out. And also we're going to send out an alert for Clark County as well, because this new warning is going to include areas near Silitpa, Jackson, and Toddtown. Again, a new tornado warning coming on the board over the next little bit. I should say next little bit. It's now on the board. for these same areas that I've been talking about over in West Alabama. 6:25 p.m. It's going to be a quick hitting warning too. So let's tell you who's involved in this. Here's your new warning. And I tell you, this is going to include areas near Deer Park, Dwight, McIntosh, Sunflower, Wagerville, Jackson, involved in this new separate tornado warning that's valid until 6:45 local time. And I apologize, it's actually 7 o'clock. This new one's on the board until 7 o'clock local time. And so this is a new tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock. Let's show you the radar data on that, because what's happened here, we've got a cell in the southern part of Washington County that is ramped up near Deer Park in the US Highway 45 corridor. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, please, sir, and we'll show you that this circulation has ramped up very near Deer Park. So again, here's your new tornado warning right here, and we're tracking two tornado warning polygons. Here's your polygon for this possible tornado near US Highway 45, near Deer Park, near Vinegar Bend, coming into areas near McIntosh. If you're at McIntosh, you are now under an active tornado warning. Let's go in tight and we'll show you this does include a part of US Highway 43 and a part of US Highway 45. And so possible tornado is going to be here, moving just like that. This is rural West Alabama, Washington County, back over to LD1, population of 17,000, 18,000 people over here in West Alabama. Washington County is one of the most rural counties in our area. So let's go back over to LD1 and we'll show you that these storms continue to rapidly push off to the northeast. And so you need to be in a safe place if you're at Vinegar Bend, Deer Park, Dwight, McIntosh, Wagerville. Wagerville is going to really catch both of these, unfortunately. Same thing at Sunflower. If you're at Sunflower, we're not going to be able to give you an all clear back behind this cell that is now almost to Jackson. The good news is Tibby is not involved in this new warning. Tibby is not involved. Chatham is not involved. The Chatham Airport is not involved in the new warning, farther south. All right, so what's happened here, we've got two active tornado warnings for parts of Clark and Washington counties right now as of 6:28 p.m. Let's go back up to our northern storm bouncing between these. Possible tornado at St. Stephen's and Leroy, coming into Jackson and Toddtown over the next few minutes. Same thing at Salitpa, Wynn, Toddtown. Be in a safe place. Possible tornado is going to cross the Tombigbee River. Could have some hail as well in the next few minutes near Toddtown. And so large hail possible up to the size of a nickel near Toddtown over the next few minutes. I'm checking our Red Zone Weather app to see if we've got any photos coming in. I don't see any right now. And so again, it's, we're in the dark time of the day, and I wouldn't expect to get many photos, but occasionally someone will be able to snap, one of these grainy photos in the middle of the night to kind of help us see exactly what's going on. Let's zoom out, show you the entire local area. We actually started our day around 5:15, so what is it? That's about an hour and 15 minutes ago. We had a tornado warning for northern Covington County. That is now long gone, and we are here because of these ongoing tornado warnings over in West Alabama in parts of Washington and Clark counties. I note some good news to pass along. Jackson County, Mississippi is out of the tornado warning. And so the tornado warning down in southern Mississippi has been allowed to expire or has been canceled for Jackson and Harrison counties. And so Biloxi is out and behind the severe weather threat at this point. In other words, all clear for the night in Biloxi. The issues have come to an end back behind this main line of thunderstorms. Let's actually look across the region and show you what's going on here, because more thunderstorms that will produce tornadoes are likely over the next several hours. All counties from west to east across our local area are now involved in an active tornado warning, tornado watch. Thank you for putting up that banner. Active tornado watch for all local counties, valid until 1 a.m. And so we will see if we get more tornado warnings out ahead of this main batch of thunderstorms that continues to push off to the east. While we look at this in Washington and Clark counties, I do want to briefly hit Monroe and Conecuh counties. No issues for you right now. These counties are not under any warning. Same thing in Escambia, Alabama, Covington, Butler, Crenshaw. You are fine right now. Same thing in Northwest Florida. It doesn't matter where you are in Escambia, Santa Rosa, or Okaloosa counties, or Walton counties at this point, in Northwest Florida, you are fine right now. Same thing in Baldwin County. Same thing in Mobile County. You are fine right now. There are no warnings to speak of in those areas. The only warnings that we've got on the board as of 6:30 p.m. are happening in parts of West Alabama, in Washington and Clark counties. Let's focus on these individually. We'll go in first to our northern storm that's at St. Stephen's, Leroy, and Jackson. Landon, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, still looking at this same northern storm, but I tell you, this is broadened out somewhat right about here, and this is moving just like that into the city of Jackson. If you know someone, anybody at all in the city of Jackson, Alabama, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below, and let them know that they have an imminent tornado threat. And when I say imminent, I'm talking right now, all right? This is imminent in Jackson and Leroy and St. Stephen's. Here's our southern storm, and honestly, this one is a bit more concerning. That is a very, very tight circulation happening near the intersection of US Highway 45 and Alabama Highway 17. That's where 17 runs into 45 right there near Deer Park. If you live within 5 miles of that intersection, you'd be in a safe place, no doubt about it, as this possible tornado is moving off to the northeast, all right? So that's gonna come very near McIntosh in about, say, 10 minutes, all right? So in McIntosh, let's make it happen, get to a safe place. Same thing at Sunflower. If you live near the community of Sunflower, you need to be in a tornado safe place right now, as we have a possible tornado coming in from the southwest. Let's go back over to LD1, tracking 2 tornadoes in Clark and Washington counties over here in West Alabama. Let's go back up to our northern storm. We'll zoom in real tight. Possible tornado is on top of Leroy and Jackson at this point, near St. Stephen's as well, along the Tombigbee River, crossing near US Highway 43, approaching Toddtown from the southwest. We need you to be in a safe place if you're near any of those areas that I just called out. And while it looks like this thing is going to basically be near 43, Highway 43, if I'm in Walker Springs, and same thing at Wynn. If I'm at Wynn, I would be in my safe place. And we will have to see if the Weather Service decides to extend this downrange. If they do, it's going to be an issue for Grove Hill, Watley, Gosport, areas near Allen, and Suggsville, right there where the old line road, County Highway 35, comes into US Highway 84 on the top of that hill, just outside of Watley. If you live in this area, you know what I'm talking about. There's a water tower right there on the top of that hill, just to the east of Watley on 84. I think it's called the Old Suggsville Water System, if I'm not mistaken. And you need to be just getting ready just in case you go under a tornado warning over the next few minutes. Current time 6:33 p.m. It is, let's see, it's Wednesday, December 14th, 2022, and we are here because of these 2 tornado warnings happening in West Alabama. Washington and Clark counties under the gun from these tornadoes, possible tornadoes at this point. No other tornado warnings for any part of our local counties here in South Alabama or Northwest Florida. And like I said at the top of this broadcast, when we came on around 5:15, just know this may be a rather long evening. The good news is we'll probably get this mess out of here by, midnight or 1 a.m. That's the good news, but we've got a long way to go. And so just, have some dinner, pop some popcorn, buckle up, hang out with us. I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to be here for a while as we continue to track these possible tornadoes, one of which is near Jackson, the other is back around Deer Park. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, and I'll show you that these cells continue to move to the northeast. Possible tornado is here. This is very near the Boykin Wildlife Management Area in southern Washington County, and this is coming out towards Sunflower, Wagerville, and McIntosh. And so I realize that we've had you in a safe place. Hopefully, if you got the message early in Wagerville for the last 30 minutes, but If you're in Wagerville, you got to stay in that tornado safe place, as we have another tornado, separate possible tornado, coming in from the southwest. And so just hang out in that tornado safe place if you're in Wagerville. I realize it's super inconvenient, especially if you have, kids or dogs or cats. You don't want to be confined for very long. I get that, but I'd rather you be confined and a little inconvenienced than have major issues from these possible tornadoes. Now, let's go back up to our storm here on the radar scope source, and I'll show you this thing near Jackson may be cycling back up. This is right over Leroy at this point, and the cell has kind of cycled over the last few minutes, and it appears the circulation may be redeveloping right on top of Leroy, coming into areas near Jackson over the next few minutes. This is in Washington County, Alabama, and Clark County, Alabama. If you're in Clark County, Mississippi, your risk is done. You have no issues in Clark County, Mississippi at this point. This is Clark County, Alabama. Getting a message from a buddy at the National Weather Service in Mobile indicating that the northern warned cell, this one that we have on the screen right now, has broadened out. And it looks like what's happening here is the southern circulation is becoming dominant. And so let's go back down to this southern circulation. And, let's put a probe out and just have a look-see at 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible, even if you don't have a tornado. Keep in mind, this is the radar, and so this is hitting it at about 3,000 feet above where the surface is at this angle. But nonetheless, damaging straight-line winds will be possible near McIntosh over the next few minutes. Landon, if you will, take me back over to LD1, please, sir, as we continue to track these possible tornadoes in Washington and Clark counties. That's the only game that we've got in town right now. In other words, these are the only warnings that we have on the board as of 6:37 p.m. And again, watching this very carefully. By the way, I have received a few messages from folks that are having issues with the Red Zone Weather app. And so for our app support team, if you are watching this, and I suspect they are, we need to increase our server capacity. That's what's going on here. Folks get these database error messages when we've got, 5,000 people trying to get on the app at once. And so for our app development team watching, we need to increase that server capacity so that folks can see the content that's automatically being posted in our live severe weather coverage in the Red Zone Weather app. And so Facebook and YouTube, by the way, are not affected, but sometimes when we get 5, 6, 7,000 people trying to access our app at once, you get those server database messages. And so we certainly apologize for those. And for our app support team, you need to get on that and fix those, please, and increase our server capacity. The way it works, we've got a contract with a big server company, and in these severe weather events, we pay more and get more server capacity, but clearly that's not, meeting demand at this point. We need to increase server capacity for our folks watching. So let's zoom into Washington County, because we do have 2 tornado warnings that continue until 7 o'clock. This northern warning, I think, is until 6:45. Yeah, it's until 6:45. We will see if the Weather Service decides to extend that downrange into Grove Hill, Gosport, Watley, Cyrene. We'll see if they do that, but clearly this southern circulation is the one that's dominant. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, please, and we'll show you. There it is. This circulation clearly has become the one that is the main problem on our radar view right now. And this is moving just like that. And so in the next few moments, this is going to be an issue for US Highway 43 near Sunflower, near McIntosh, and near Wagerville. So just know that this is coming up on you if you're in those communities near US Highway 43 over the next few minutes. While we've got you on this source, let me actually look around and see if we have more in the way of issues. I do note that we've got a circulation in Conecuh County. No warning on that right now, but just know that we are watching broad circulation in northern Conecuh County out toward Liefien north of Evergreen out on 83. That's one to watch carefully. Let's go back over to our LD1 source, please. That's also going to be near the community of China in northern Conecuh County. Let's zoom in there quickly and just kind of check that out. Here's Interstate 65. Here's Alabama Highway 83. This is Alabama Highway 21 right here. This is 47 that goes through Midway. This is just a broadly rotating thunderstorm at this point, near Leaffian, near Bowles, Church of God, coming out here towards the Sapulga River, north of 65, near the community of Grace, near Garland over the next few minutes. So just know, putting you on notice, in northern Conecuh County, north of Evergreen, near Georgiana in southern Butler, you may get a tornado warning next. So just be aware of that. Nothing to panic over at this point, but just know you may get a tornado warning next in those areas. So we'll go back to our storms in West Alabama, tracking two circulations, one of which is now in Clark County. We'll zoom in there. Possible tornado is near Jackson and Toddtown, coming into Walker Springs near US Highway 43. We will see if the Weather Service decides to extend this warning out towards Suggsville, Watley, near the Old Line Road, near Bright Star Road, which is south of 84 there, where Old Line Road and County Highway 35 come out right there at the hill, just to the east of Watley. Again, just watching this situation with keen interest. 6:41 p.m. as we're tracking possible tornadoes. And I tell you, that thing near Jackson is much weaker than it once was. I suspect that the Weather Service will probably let that go. Let's go back over to radar scope. And again, tracking storms in Clark and Washington counties in West Alabama. This northern circulation has broadened out. So that's a good thing for Jackson, for Leroy, for Toddtown, areas near Walker Springs. Still may have a possible tornado in through here, but that circulation is weaker than it once was. I think without a shadow of a doubt, that circulation that's coming into areas near Sunflower, near McIntosh, near Wagerville, along US Highway 43, that is the one that means business at this point. Let's check our correlation coefficient on that. I don't see anything in the way of a debris signature, and so that's a good thing. Look at this, just a mess on reflectivity. You see the classic hook on the reflectivity. That indicates the possible tornado right there. We'll go back over to our velocity view on this same source, and right about there is where your possible tornado would be. This is coming up on Alabama Highway 56 near Wagerville, near US Highway 43. No travel on those roads at this point between Chatham and Wagerville on 56, and no travel on 43 from Grove Hill back down to, let's say, Calvert, just to be safe. So let's go back over to our wide view on LD2. And by the way, when you ever hear me say LD1, LD2, what that means, we have live Doppler 1 and live Doppler 2 and live Doppler 3 that we sometimes go to. And it's just a source reference, but we've got, I don't know, 18 monitors in here that we're constantly watching. And these are our two primary radar sources. And so right now you're looking at the live reflectivity view on radar. One good bit of information, the lightning count over the last hour has come down a bit. And so hopefully that means that these storms are beginning to weaken just a bit as they move off to the east. And look, I think that this is going to be a deal that evolves somewhat into a situation where we will have a few tornadoes most likely, and perhaps damaging straight line winds. But I think that as we progress into the later evening hours, I think what's going to happen here is that the overall risk of significant tornadoes, in other words, these EF2 plus tornadoes, probably going to go down a bit. Now, it's not going to go to zero until we get the whole mess out of here. But what I'm saying is I am encouraged that we are seeing kind of a downward trend in terms of the lightning output. Still a very high risk day, comparatively speaking. We're in this level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk. And let's see if we can get up our convective outlook. Yeah, this is going to be the latest one. Landon, if you'll take me back over, yeah, there we go to LD1, and we'll show you this is the latest one that has just come on the board. Still got this level 4 risk in place for West Alabama, level 3 risk farther east. And like I said, these are major risks, but I think that the atmosphere may be a bit more stable, not by much, but maybe a bit more stable across south central Alabama and northwest Florida. Let's go back over to LD2. I see that we've got a new tornado warning. This is not for our area, by the way, for parts of Liberty and Franklin counties over in the Florida Panhandle. And so this is a new separate tornado warning down here. This is going to be north of Apalachicola in a very, very rural part of Liberty and Franklin counties here in the Florida Panhandle. So something to be aware of. South of Bluntstown, north of Apalachicola, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Carabel and Appalach down there in the Florida Panhandle. Let's go back over to our storm in Washington County because some good news to pass along. It appears, let me confirm this before I say it. It appears what the Weather Service has done is cancel out Clark from this warning. I'm watching this in real time with you. There's that northern cell going away up in northern Clark. And so yeah, what they've done here, I see what they've done. They've canceled the tornado warning for Jackson. And I think that's the right call because that's a weaker signature at this point. So what we can do, and this is a bit of good news, if you are in Jackson, Toddtown, or any part of Clark County, Alabama, you get an all clear, all right? All clear. The tornado warning has been canceled for Clark County. All clear for Clark County. So we're down to one tornado warning in Washington County. Possible tornado is approaching Sunflower, and Leroy is right on the edge of this polygon. Let's look. Yeah, Leroy is technically out, but some folks that live on the south side of Leroy, south of 43, are technically in. Here's Wagerville right here. Here's Sunflower. You've got areas near McIntosh, Topton, Seaboard involved in this ongoing active tornado warning that's on the board, I believe, until 7 o'clock. Let's click in and see. Yes, 7 o'clock. And so we've got 13 more minutes on this. And honestly, this signature remains fairly impressive. You could have damaging straight line winds in addition to a potential tornado risk. And I haven't asked in several minutes, Landon, have you seen anything in the way of reports coming in terms of power outages or damage? Anything in the way of information to pass along? Okay, that's a good thing. And you know, that's been kind of the trend over the last few hours. We haven't seen much in the way of damage. We did see damage back in Louisiana. Parts of metro New Orleans took a direct hit from a confirmed tornado earlier, and also New Iberia, Louisiana, had a big tornado earlier this morning, I believe it was, in the late morning hours. That has since obviously passed and is long gone. But the only tornado warning that we have in the state of Alabama right now is happening in Washington County. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to say that phrase throughout the course of my fairly short career. Washington County is the tornado warning and tornado watch capital of the world, if you didn't know that. There are more tornado watches in this county than any other county in the continental United States. In Washington County, Alabama, you get a lot, I'm talking a lot, of tornado watches and warnings in this county. And so you're certainly familiar with what to do. Maybe you're not. Maybe you just moved to this area. And for those folks who just moved perhaps to this area, if you're included in this tornado warning near McIntosh, near Sunflower, near Wagerville, you need to be in a site-built structure. If you're on 43, Highway 43, you need to be pulling over at a convenience store, a gas station. I wasn't, or I should say I was on Highway 43 not too terribly long ago. And look, this is a very rural part of West Alabama. Some beautiful agricultural land out in through here, along with good hunting land. But, you know, this is a very rural part of the world. And I say that to say there's not many gas stations and convenience stores. But if you're in Jackson waiting to go south, perhaps to Mobile, you can't do that right now. Same thing at Calvert. If you're down here at ThyssenKrupp or AMNS, the factory down there, you can't be doing that right now, driving to the north, as we have a possible tornado coming into Sunflower right now.
Now we're out south of Chad.
Say it again.
Now we're out south of Chad.
Power outage south of Chatham. If you couldn't hear Landon, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. We just got a report of a power outage south of Chatham. And so how many comments, by the way, did you just see one, or were there multiple ones? Just one, okay. And again, we want to thank folks who are sending in these reports. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep them coming. It is so immensely helpful to have power outage reports along with any damage reports. And Landon, did that person give us any more information in terms of where they were? Or did they just say south of Chatham? Okay. Yeah, and that's okay. And again, we appreciate the reports. And Landon, thanks again for passing that along. What probably happened here is we probably either had a tornado or damaging straight line winds. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, please. In this area south of Chatham, out near Topton, Seaboard, Tibby. And so we probably had some damage that knocked down some trees and has caused a power outage in this area in southern Washington County. Again, that's a viewer report coming in over the last few minutes. And this, let's zoom in real tight, because this thing is on 43 at this point, coming up on US Highway 43, very near or just south of Wagerville. And it will be interesting to see if the Weather Service decides to extend this downwind, because if they do, this could be an issue for areas near Jackson, Toddtown, Walker Springs, Alma over the next few minutes. So just know, putting you on notice, in this zone, you may get a new tornado warning polygon. We do not issue tornado warnings around here. That is done exclusively by our friends at the National Weather Service in Mobile, and they do, a phenomenal job. They issue the warnings, we communicate them. That's kind of the how it works around here. And so it's great because, if you watch me, if you watch, all the other news outlets around here, 3, 5, 10, 15, whatever, we're all on the same page when it comes to tornado warnings. And so it would be a nightmare if we all tried to, issue tornado warnings. Thank goodness for the National Weather Service issuing these warnings. And again, this one is coming just like this toward Jackson and Leroy. I realize that Leroy is on the edge of this polygon, but if I'm in Leroy, you better believe I'm implementing that tornado safety plan. If you will, do me a favor and grab that door behind you. I failed to close that. Got our air conditioner unit coming on. Thanks so much for doing that. As we continue to track this possible tornado. Coming up on 7 o'clock here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida, one tornado warning to speak of. Let's go back over to LD2 and we'll show it to you on the classic reflectivity view. Again, Washington County, Alabama, consistently under the gun from tornadoes, and tonight this is the only one that we have at the moment anyway, as this active weather system continues to cross our region from northwest to southeast. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Landon Barentine, our executive producer this evening, and it is a situation where you don't need to be traveling on US Highway 43 from Jackson back down to Calvert in Clark and Washington counties because of this possible tornado. Getting some more reports in here from folks outside of our area. Tell you what, when we, Landon, if you'll remind me, after we finish this warning, I do want to show something on my MacBook. If you'll give me a reminder for that, please, sir. I don't want to show that just yet, but we had an interesting photo sent in earlier that I do want to share when we get done with this warning. And so right now, this is the only warning that we have in South Alabama or Northwest Florida for parts of Washington County. Back over to the radar scope source. I tell you, this thing is kind of cycling back up, it seems. And so with a look like that, I'm just telling you, in Clark County, you are probably going to get a tornado warning in the next few minutes. And so we're probably going to be with you a good while longer as we have a situation that looks just like that. This cell is moving like that. And so Jackson, Walker Springs, Alma, Allen, Suggsville, Watley, Gosport, Claiborne. Putting you on notice, you may get a tornado warning next. Oh, and I see that we actually have a new tornado warning. This is going to be a separate deal. Let's go back over to LD2. This is for that cell that came out of Conecuh County, and we now have a new separate tornado warning for Butler County, Alabama. So Butler County, Alabama, this is a new tornado warning that's just been issued, and this is going to be in effect until 7:45 p.m. And so a new tornado warning has just been issued for Butler County until 7:45 p.m. And so sending that alert out, we got a new tornado warning to tell you about. This is going to be for parts of Clark and Washington counties. And so in the last few moments, we've got new tornado warnings. And so what has happened here is exactly what I mentioned a second ago. Jackson, Grove Hill, Fulton, areas near Whatley, Gosport, Cyrene, Lower Peachtree, Monroe Intermediate School, also Wynn, Allen, now involved in a new tornado warning. But let's go over here to this one in Butler first, and you know the drill. Because we have two new tornado warnings, we'll work them side by side and bounce between them. First thing I want to do is go into Butler County and tell you who's involved in this. Let's take off the radar data. And I'll tell you what, Landon, if you'll take me over, please, sir, to the, let's see if we can get it to cooperate there. Yeah, the LD1 source, please. We'll show you exactly who's involved in this. And so if you're in the city of Greenville, you are under an active tornado warning, and you need to be implementing that tornado safety plan right now. Again, implement the tornado safety plan if you're at Greenville. Greenville should be totally shut down at this point as we have an active tornado warning. And what we do is we practice what we preach. I'm telling you, if you know someone in Greenville, you need to call them, text them, tag them in the comments below, and let them know that we have a new active tornado warning for Greenville, Alabama. This also does include the community of Grace. Chapman is in. If you're in Chapman, you are involved in this tornado warning. Same thing at Butler Springs. Same thing out here on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. Beautiful golf course in northern Butler County. You are involved in this new tornado warning. Same thing at Providence. Same thing at Fort Dale out here on 163. You're involved in this new tornado warning that is in effect until 7:45 p.m. This does not include Lowndes, Montgomery, or Crenshaw, but this does include a big chunk of Butler County. And so again, we're calling everyone in Greenville, Fort Dale, Chapman, Grace, Providence. All those areas are involved in a tornado warning valid until 7:45 p.m. Let's go back over to our other storm in Clark County. Let's go back over to LD2. I want to do the exact same thing over here and take off the radar data so I can show you exactly who's involved in this. And if you're in Grove Hill, Jackson, Wagerville, Leroy, Alma, Allen, Suggsville, Gosport, Whatley, Cyrene, areas near Dickinson, Fulton, Old Line Road, which is County Highway 35, Bright Line Road, areas near Grove Hill. You need to be Orange Hill as well. Be sheltered, all right? This is Clark County, Alabama, and this is a new tornado warning that has just come on the board. This one also is going to be in effect, I believe, yes, until 7:45 p.m. So the Weather Service is calling this a radar indicated tornado coming into Jackson and Leroy from the south. Lots of lightning with this storm coming into Jackson. You need to be in a tornado safe place. The lightning is a concern, and you certainly want to be inside, but the bigger concern is this active tornado warning in effect for the city of Jackson. All right, so Jackson, Walker Springs, Leroy, Toddtown, Allen, Whatley, Bright Line Road, Old Line Road, Orange Hill, Grove Hill, Cyrene, Lower Peachtree, Chance, also areas near Monroe Intermediate School. Be in a safe place. I'll tell you, I was in this part of the world about a week ago, I spoke at Monroe Intermediate School. And if you don't know where that is, it's right here in Packers Bend, just across the line in Monroe County. And so the school actually feeds into the Clark County school system, but very rural part of southwest Alabama. And again, for folks in Lower Peachtree and Nettleboro, you need to be sheltered right now. This thing is down around Jackson, about to cross the Tombigbee River into Clark County over the next few minutes. And you certainly want to be in a safe place. Let's go back over to our storm in Butler County, back over to LD1, and we're working 2 tornado warnings as of 7:02 p.m. One of which is in Butler County, very near the community of Providence, coming into areas near Shacklesville and near areas like Butler Springs along Alabama Highway 10. This is going to be an issue for areas near Greenville and Fort Dale over the next few minutes. All these places that you see inside this red box are involved in this active tornado warning, and we would encourage everyone to get to that tornado safe place. Lowest floor, site-built structure, away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Getting some photos in, some videos in. Landon, if you'll give me a minute, I need to look at this and see what we've got going on. Yeah, this is going to be a video that has come in from northern Clark County. No issues right now. Let's go back over to LD2. No issues right now in Thomasville, but this video does a great job of showing us what's going on across our region. Let me see if I can pull that up and we can show that. Yeah, if you'll take my MacBook full, the 16 one, not the 12 one, yeah. And this is the kind of stuff that we're getting. In addition to the heavy rain, gusty winds are happening in the non-severe storms across the entire area. And so this is happening in Thomasville. Back over to LD2. Certainly want to thank, this video is from, I apologize, I'm not able to see the name instantly, from who this video is from Alden Murphy. All right, so that video is from Alden Murphy. We certainly want to thank him for that. Again, tracking a possible tornado in southern Clark County coming into the city of Jackson right now. Possible tornado, I tell you, this is really ramped up. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. Same storm, different source. Possible tornado looks mighty impressive on radar right here. Very near Leroy, very near Jackson. This is coming in to Clark County near Jackson. And so if you live in Jackson, Alabama, you need to be taking shelter right now as we have a possible tornado moving in from the southwest. It is now 7:03 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside executive producer Landon Barentine. Certainly thank him for his service this evening. And the reason we are here is this. I realize it looks like a bucket of spilled paint to 99% of people watching, but this is a very serious situation in that we could have a tornado coming into Jackson, Alabama, not Jackson, Tennessee, not Jackson, Louisiana, not Jackson, Mississippi. This is Jackson, Alabama over here in Clark County. And you need to be implementing that tornado safety plan now if you are in Jackson. Don't wait. This thing is now on top of you in Jackson. A bit of good news to pass along. We will give you an all clear if you are in Seaboard, Topton, Vinegar Bend, Deer Park, McIntosh, Malcolm, Wagerville. You're done, all right? You are out of the tornado warning at this point. I realize that this polygon, still technically comes down here and includes Wagerville, but you're done with the threat behind this advancing circulation that's up here at Jackson and Leroy right now. This is coming out of Leroy, coming into Jackson, crossing the Tombigbee River right now. Tell you what, let me check on our other sources here. While we do that, Landon, let's go back over to LD1. We'll show our storm in Butler County. Possible tornadoes coming up on Greenville in the next 5 minutes. No travel at this point on Interstate 65 from, let's say, exit 142, which is Fort Deposit, the Priesters exit, all the way back down to exit let's say 114, which is the Georgiana-Starlington exit. And so that stretch of interstate includes exit 128, which is the branded as the Greenville Pineapple exit. And then you got exit 130, which is the main Greenville exit right there where I think it's 163 comes into, or excuse me, it's 263, where that comes into Greenville out of Fort Dale. No travel on Interstate 65 or on Alabama Highway 263 from the county line back down into Greenville. No travel at this point either on on Alabama Highway 10 extending from Nashville and Greenville all the way back over to Pineapple at this point. Let's go back over to LD2, tracking another separate tornado near Jackson. And I apologize if I cough. Talking for 5 hours straight probably isn't the best thing for my voice, but we've done longer coverage during Hurricane Sally, and so I feel if we can get through that, we certainly can get through this event. Possible tornado at Jackson, crossing the Tombigbee River, coming into areas near Allen, near Alma, near Wynne, Toddtown, Watley, Suggsville, Old Line Road, County Highway 35, Highway 43 from Jackson to Grove Hill. No travel at this point. This is going to come towards Watley. Watley is a community that's down the hill from Grove Hill on Highway 84. And if you're familiar with this area, you know that the, let's go back over to our storm in Clark County. There we go. And again, if you're familiar with this area, you know that the Norfolk Southern Railroad runs through Watley right there at the bridge, right there where Bassett's Creek crosses 84. And so, or I should say where 84 crosses Bassett's Creek. If you live near that railroad, near Watley, you are in the core danger zone from this possible tornado. Up the hill at Suggsville, same type thing. Up the hill on 84, where Old Line Road and 35 come in to 84, you need to be sheltered. If you live within 5 miles of that major intersection in West Alabama, same thing at Grove Hill. I realize that this thing is probably going to miss Grove Hill if it continues on this trajectory a bit to the east, but you can see that the city of Grove Hill, Alabama is involved in the active tornado warning. All parts of Grove Hill, you're involved. Same thing out at the airport and the health department on US Highway 84. Same thing at the courthouse. Same thing at the grocery store. Back down south to the fast food joints. I think there's a Popeyes or McDonald's in that area. You want to be sheltered if you live within 5 miles of Clark County High School in Grove Hill, Alabama. Let's go back over to LD1. We'll go back over to our Butler County storm. And again, the major call to action here is Alabama Highway 10 and Greenville. Possible tornado is down here around Providence and Chapman, moving toward Greenville. This thing is making a beeline toward Greenville, Alabama. And I tell you, that thing is wrapped up. Let me change our radar source here. That thing's going to be in Greenville proper in the next few minutes. And so, Landon, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, please. Right here is the possible tornado, and this is moving just like that. And so on that trajectory, this could be a major issue for the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, areas near Greenville proper, be in a safe place. There are, a ton of restaurants and fast food places. Let's go back over to LD1 so I can kind of set the scene here in Greenville. Again, tracking two separate storms. One is at Jackson in West Alabama. The other is at coming into Greenville here in South Central Alabama. Lots of little places. Cracker Barrel. You've got the car dealership on the north side of Cracker Barrel. You've also got Wendy's, Captain D's, Sonic, Walmart, all right there near the Interstate 65 intersection where it crosses 263. And so if you are at those places or near those places, Greenville First Baptist Church, City Hall, near the Presbyterian Church, the Methodist Church, all those areas in Greenville, you know what I'm talking about, be in a safe place, all right? Lowest floor, site-built structure, away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. For our folks in Butler County, it has been a long time since you have had a tornado warning. And for folks in Chapman, areas near Butler Springs, Fort Dale, Providence, this is what you need to do right now. Let's go over to our graphic system. and we'll show you that you need to be underground if you can. We know that a lot of folks can't get underground, and that's okay. You do not have to be underground to survive a tornado. Lowest floor, site-built structure near the center of the structure. Put on a tornado helmet if you're in Greenville. And when I was in school, 10, 15 years ago, they didn't teach us this stuff. I tell the kids all the time when I go do school presentations, back over to LD1, we didn't get taught to wear tornado helmets. That's nobody's fault, but it just wasn't a widespread practice. Now, we got a helmet for everybody in this building. And I think that, it's a really great thing to wear a tornado helmet. That is the best thing you can do to greatly increase your chance of surviving what could be a bad tornado coming into Greenville. This is a radar indicated tornado. Let's go back over to LD2 and show you this storm in West Alabama. Possible tornado near Jackson is coming into Allen and areas near Walker Springs over the next few minutes. This is going to be near Suggsville, Watley, and areas out here just near Gosport in the next 10 minutes. I realize Gosport is out of the polygon, but it's mighty close. And so there are folks who live per se in Gosport that are involved in this active tornado warning. 7:11 p.m. on this December the 14th, 2022, and we are here because of these active tornado warnings happening in Alabama. Landon, have you seen anything in the way of reports that we need to pass along? Okay, yeah, that's the, what that is, that's the state park near Uri. And so I tell you what, let's see what source we're on. We're on 2. Let's go over there just for a second, and I'll show you this. You've got the Little River State Park right here near Uri. Power outage is being reported there. No warnings, by the way, in Uri, but just something to be aware of. We do have a power outage near Uri, apparently, near Alabama Highway 21. It's one of those things that could have been caused by pressure gradient winds. Knocking even one tree down can cause a power outage. Tell you what, take me back over to radar scope and I'll show you both of these warnings. Here's tornado warning number 1 over in Clark County. Here's the other one in Butler County. And so you can see that we've got a circulation coming into Greenville, separate circulation coming out of Jackson into Gosport and Watley. And so 2 tornado warnings that we're tracking. I don't really see anything else imminently, anyway, that suggests an imminent threat to me at this point, which is a good thing. Hopefully it will remain that way. But we are tracking these 2 cells, and these mean business on this Wednesday evening. Tell you what, let's go back over to LD1, back to our Butler County storm. And this is a tornado warning that continues until 7:45 for Butler County, Alabama. Greenville is involved. And so if you're at Greenville, you need to be implementing that tornado safety plan right now as we have a possible tornado coming into Greenville from the southwest. Tell you what I am going to do. I don't like to do this, and I apologize, but I've got to grab a swig of water to keep that voice going for the next few hours, as again, it may be a long evening. Tracking 2 tornadoes. Here's one in Butler County coming up on Alabama Highway 10 at the moment anyway. And this is currently impacting areas near Shacklesville, Alabama, coming into Reddick Springs and also Greenville over the next few minutes. Possible tornado is going to be on the southern side of this, moving just like that toward Greenville, toward all the places that I just called out a minute ago. You know, the restaurants in through there near the I-65 corridor. And this is not the only storm that we're tracking, though. Let's go back over to LD2. And we'll show you that we also have a storm that's now exclusively an issue for Clark County. Here's the deal. If you're in Chatham, I'll give you an all clear. You're done with the imminent tornado threat. That means that Leroy, Sunflower, Malcolm, areas near Wagerville, you are done with the tornado threat. Now, I realize this polygon is still in effect, but I can tell you, you're done with the threat in Washington County. The threat continues in Clark County, coming into areas near Gosport and Suggsville and Walker Springs right now. So again, we want you to be in a safe place, underground if you can get there, but this is exclusively an issue for Clark County, Alabama. (7:14 p.m.) Tell you what, let me zoom out across the region. I see that we've got some questions coming in. Look, if I'm not talking about you, that's a good thing. All right, so if you are in Pensacola, if you're in Mobile, if you're in Crestview, Bruton, Evergreen, Castleberry, Atmore, you're fine. All right, you're fine. Yes, you've got lightning around, but you do not have a warning in those areas. I take a good bit of criticism from folks for not covering their town, and sometimes people send me nasty messages. That's fine, we'll deal with it. Our policy isn't going to change around here. We have to focus on the danger zones, and right now the two danger zones are in Butler County, Alabama, coming into Greenville and Alabama Highway 10, and Clark County exclusively at this point, coming into Watley and Suggsville and the old line road over the next few minutes. All right, so those are the danger zones. And look, Weather Service has trimmed out Washington County. Washington County, Alabama, all clear. You are done with the imminent tornado risk. You can come out of that hiding place. The lightning output's going down. Yes, you've got heavy rain, but Washington County is DONE with the severe weather risk for now. We'll make sure that we don't get another ramp up in the southern part of this storm, but you're fine right now if you are in Washington County. Here's a bit of good news to pass along. If you are in Choctaw County, Alabama, all clear for the night. You are done with severe weather issues tonight in Choctaw County, Alabama. Same thing back here in Wayne County, Mississippi. You are done. And so you're seeing kind of how this works. Once this main batch of storms passes through your location, you get an all clear. And the main batch of storms extends from Thomasville back down to Grove Hill, down to Jackson and Leroy, all the way down into Mobile County. Main batch of storms is going to come through Mobile over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Right now, there's no warning for any part of Mobile County. Hopefully, we'll keep it that way. There's no warning for any part of Baldwin County at this point. Hopefully, we'll keep it that way. The only two warnings that we've got on the board are impacting Butler County, Alabama, and also Clark County, Alabama. So those are the communities under the gun. Here's Butler County. Possible tornado. I tell you, that's really, really tough to see. Let's see if I can switch the radar and make it a little bit better. Yeah, there it is. If you'll go, there we go, to radar scope. Landon's ahead of the game tonight, and so I certainly appreciate his help. Landon Barentine's our executive producer this evening. And possible tornado is going to be right here. Look, I realize it's nighttime, it's prime time at this point. We're 7:18 p.m. This is a serious situation. And I know, we've talked to people across the region. Sometimes people just tune in to watch the next thing that we're going to say. But I just want to underscore the seriousness of this situation for Greenville, Alabama. If you know anyone at Greenville, Alabama, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below and let them know that we have a serious situation. This is a possible tornado coming in from the southwest. And I tell you, this is going to be right over areas near Greenville High School, which sits right about there on the map. You see the dot that I just drew? This is coming right into Greenville, just like that. And so this is going to be very, very close. I mean, perhaps very near that high school, near the Walmart, near exit 130, which is the Greenville exit where 263 comes into 65. There is a, I think it's a Crystal right there. I know there's a Cracker Barrel. There is a car dealership. There is, what else is right in through there? You've got the McDonald's over there on the eastern side of 65. You've got Wendy's right there on Highway 10 going into downtown Greenville out to the east. And so all those areas, if you know what I'm talking about, you need to be sheltered, all right? All of Greenville needs to be totally shut down. Same thing at the medical center on the south side of town. All the folks need to be in the halls, away from windows, away from doors, as we have a tornado coming into Greenville, Alabama, a likely tornado at this point. Let's go back over to our LD2 source because we're tracking a separate tornado warning over here in Clark County, Alabama. Possible tornado happening near Suggsville, Watley, Walker Springs right now. Let's look at it on the velocity view in just a second. Let me get that queued up for us. And yeah, let's go back over to the radar scope source. Right here is your possible tornado, just south of Grove Hill. Grove Hill, you are involved in this polygon. Grove Hill should be implementing your tornado safety plan right now as we have a possible tornado coming in from the south. It looks like this may be an issue for Watley and areas out on the eastern side of town, but I don't want to be so specific because Grove Hill is involved in this active tornado warning. Look, we've also got some more issues I need to tell you about. No warning yet, but the Weather Service is noting that this cell south of Dauphin Island, let's see, this is what, about 20 miles to the south of Dauphin Island. This is coming toward Mobile and Baldwin counties. This is going to be an issue like that, all right? So what I mean by that, putting you on notice, Dauphin Island, Fort Morgan, Magnolia Springs, Fairhope, Foley, Silver Hill. Those communities, just, you need to watch this. If you know someone down in Baldwin County, tag them in the comments below and you can tell them I said we need to watch this possible developing water spout out over the Gulf. The Weather Service is noting that we may have issues in southern Baldwin County as this thing moves just like that, all right, toward Baldwin County, putting you on notice in those areas. Let me go back up to our storm in Clark County as this is approaching US Highway 84 from the south. No travel at this point from Grove Hill back down to, let's say, Gosport on US Highway 84. No travel on US Highway 43 from Fulton down to Jackson. Speaking of Jackson, Alabama will give you a tornado all clear. Tornado all clear in Jackson, Alabama. Same thing at Toddtown. All clear. You are done with the tornado threat at Jackson, and you can come out of that tornado hiding place at this point. Current time 7:22 p.m. Let's go back up to our storm in Butler County, and I have to go to the Maxwell Air Force Base radar, and I tell you that thing is right on top of Greenville. Possible tornado at Greenville right here, pushing toward Fort Deposit. We will see if the Weather Service decides to extend this warning up here towards Fort Deposit and Daisy. That is a possibility. The community of Daisy is right here. Here's Fort Deposit. And so watching this cell at Greenville push just like that. Let's go back over to our LD1 source and look at this storm on reflectivity. This is over Greenville at this point, perhaps out here on the north side of Interstate 65. And if you're at Fort Dale, you need to be implementing that tornado safety plan right now. Lowest floor, site-built structure, as many walls between you and the outside world as you possibly could do. Basement is great. If you don't have a basement, that's fine. Get to the lowest floor. Helmets on in Greenville, all right? Same thing on the north side of town, out towards the airport, out towards Spring Hill on 31, be sheltered. Spring Hill, by the way, in Butler County, not Spring Hill in Mobile or Escambia counties. We got so many Spring Hills around here. That's a bit confusing, but this is Butler County. Let's go back over to LD2, tracking a separate tornado in Clark County. Possible tornado coming up on US Highway 84. Let's get in here pretty tight, and we'll show you that this is Highway 43, this is US Highway 84. Possible tornado is here near Suggsville, coming into Watley and near the old line road over the next few minutes. Landon, have you seen anything over the last few minutes? Okay. Morning Star Road, you need to be sheltered, all right? If you live near Morning Star Baptist Church, which is basically right here, Morning Star Baptist Church, within 5 miles of there, be sheltered. Little Baptist Church right there on the south side of 84. You've also got areas out there. There's a cemetery called, I believe it's called the Heron Cemetery right here on top of that hill. If you live within 5 miles of that cemetery, you need to be sheltered, all right? Same thing at Gosport. Gosport, even though the text is off of the screen, or excuse me, out of the polygon, there's some folks who would say that they live at Gosport. I want you sheltered. in Gosport right now, be in a safe place. Out here toward the Claiborne Lock and Dam on the Alabama River, be in a safe place. All right, possible tornado is going to come up here. This ultimately could be an issue for Monroe County out toward Franklin and Alabama Highway 41 over the next few minutes if it holds its strength. We'll watch that carefully, but right now this is exclusively an issue for eastern Clark County. Some good news, I can safely say this possible tornado is going to pass to the east of Grove Hill. Now, I would probably stay in my tornado safe place for the next few minutes till we give you an all clear, but it's not going to be long until we do that in Grove Hill because this circulation is clearly going to pass closer to Whatley and Gosport. And so just know that if you're at Grove Hill or areas near Orange Hill or say even Fulton or Dickinson, probably going to be more of an issue to your south, but I would stay in that tornado safe place for the next few minutes in those areas as you technically are involved in that tornado warning polygon. Tell you what, let's go back over to our storm in Butler County. Possible tornado at Greenville right now, maybe on the north side of town, out toward 263, Highway 263 in Fort Dale. And 263 is the road that comes out of Greenville and goes up to Pleasant Hill. I used to take that route all the time, going from Bruton up to Tuscaloosa when I was in college. And so no travel right now on Alabama Highway 263 from Greenville back up to the Butler-Lowndes County line. Same thing, we would advise absolutely no travel at this point on Interstate 65 from exit 142, which is the Fort Deposit Priesters exit, all the way back down to exit 128, which is branded as the Greenville Pineapple exit. No travel on those roads. Same thing, by the way, on Alabama Highway 185, which connects Fort Dale up to Fort Deposit. You can't be traveling on that road either, as we have a possible tornado very near there on the north side of Greenville, moving basically parallel to 65. We will see if the Weather Service decides to extend this to the north. There's kind of an interesting deal here because, let me zoom out a bit. Butler County belongs to NWS Mobile. So when you get a tornado warning for Butler County, it comes from down in Mobile. Once you cross into Lowndes, Montgomery, or Crenshaw counties, that becomes the territory of responsibility for NWS Birmingham. And so we will see if Birmingham decides to issue a tornado warning. I suspect that they won't because this cell continues to kind of broaden out. Some good news to pass along. Let's go back over to LD2 because our tornado warning in Clark has just been canceled. And I think that's probably the best course of action here. Let's go over to the velocity on that. Yeah, and it's much more broad. That's a good thing. The Weather Service, in their assessment, they believe that there is no more imminent tornado threat for Clark County. And so, with that said, it's been a long night over here in Clark County, but let me just call out these communities one more time. If I call you out, you get an all clear, all right? Grove Hill, Whatley, Allen, Gosport, Cyrene, Alma, Allen, Jackson, again, Toddtown, Grove Hill, Orange Hill, areas near the Old Line Road, County Highway 35, areas out here near, you've got Allen as well, all clear. Cyrene, Chance, Claiborne Lock and Dam, Packers Bend, Lower Peachtree, all those areas, all clear from the imminent tornado threat. This cell is no longer classified as severe. So just to clarify one more time, all parts of Clark County get an all clear from the imminent tornado threat, but I see we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just now coming on the board, and this is going to be for parts of West Alabama. This is actually a major severe thunderstorm warning, and I say major, this includes a big population center. Damaging straight line winds will be possible shortly near Mobile. All right, so we've been talking about inland areas thus far. Now we're going to kind of shift gears and talk about Mobile and Baldwin counties, because we have a new separate severe thunderstorm warning that has just come on the board. And this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect, I believe, until 8:30, all right? 8:30. And look, you see this has got the tornado possible tag. And so what that means is we could see a few brief spin up tornadoes in this severe thunderstorm warning that may not get a warning, all right? So a few tornadoes will be possible in this severe thunderstorm warning. And look, if one kind of ramps up and the Weather Service, sees that, they'll issue a tornado warning. But you get these mini spinny tornadoes that, ramp up for 2 frames and then they go away. I'm so proud of the Weather Service for introducing this tornado possible tag. It cuts down on the false alarm ratio of these tornado warnings. And so the weather is about to get rough in Mobile, in Pritchard, in Saraland, Satsuma, downtown, Midtown, Crichton, DIP, Navco, areas down there near Dauphin Island, Bayou La Batterie, Coden. You are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, this is in effect until 8:30 p.m. Landon, you got anything to pass along while we kind of shift gears and talk about this new warning? Okay. Yeah, getting a lot of reports in the Facebook and YouTube comments that our server capacity has been breached, I should say, on the Red Zone Weather app, and I apologize for that. Notifications should still be flowing through to some degree, but again, for the folks that are watching from Illinois, from our app development team, increased server capacity. I realize I've said that 2 times already during the extent of this coverage, but we need to increase that server capacity for folks in the Red Zone Weather app. There's simply not enough server space for folks that are utilizing the app on this Wednesday evening. And so again, tracking these storms coming into Mobile and Baldwin counties, let's go back up to our storm in Butler County and look at this, because let's go back over to LB1. This has really moved out of the polygon at this point. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I tell you, it has ramped up though. If I'm near Fort Dale, I'm staying in that tornado safe place, all right? So, and I say that, let's see what's happened here. I think Weather Service, they've canceled the tornado warning. So we may actually see a new tornado warning come on the board in the next few minutes, way up here in the northern part of Butler County, near Fort Dale, near Daisy. This is southern Lowndes County, near exit 142 on Interstate 65. We will see if the Weather Service in Birmingham decides to issue a new separate tornado warning for Lowndes County. That is a possibility, putting you on notice if you live near Fort Deposit. That cell, however, has moved north of Greenville and will give you a tornado all clear for Butler County, at the moment anyway. So again, all clear for all parts of Butler County, Alabama. You're done with tornado warnings for now. You may get another one later, that's very possible. But for now, all of Butler County gets an all clear. Let's go back over to our severe thunderstorm warning, and this is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of Washington, far southern Clark, and parts of Monroe and Escambia counties here in southwest Alabama. And so if I call you out, your community is now involved in a severe thunderstorm warning. This is including Monroeville, Mexie, Uri, Atmore, Huxford, Tensaw, Stockton, Stapleton, Bay Minette, Jackson, areas near Malcolm, Calvert, Saraland, Axis, also areas out here near Satsuma, the city of Mobile, all of Mobile, West Mobile is involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning. Tillman's Corner, also areas near Fairhope, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Foley, Bon Secours, Magnolia Springs, Silver Hill, Loxley, big severe thunderstorm warning. And I say big, it's a large area that's included in this severe thunderstorm warning. This does not include Pensacola, Pace, Milton, Bruton, or Evergreen. This does include Atmore, Walnut Hill, Pine, Pineville, Gateswood, areas, let's see, near, who have I not called out? Lottie, Boonville, Rabun, Porch, Sardine, Robinsonville, Goodway. You've also got areas in through here near Uri, Chrysler, Eliska, Gainestown, Carlton, the Mobile, Tensas River Delta, Mount Vernon, all these areas in a severe thunderstorm warning. And what that means is severe thunderstorms can produce damaging straight line winds up to in excess of 58 miles per hour. And so that certainly is capable of knocking down trees and power lines across the Mobile metro. Just be inside. This is not a tornado warning at this point, but you need to be in a safe place, all right? Inside, away from windows. No need to, hunker down necessarily, but severe thunderstorm warning, just get inside. Don't play with this. Don't try to go out and see what's going on. This is just nasty weather is what this is. I tell you what, let's go back over to radar scope, because we're going to get a new tornado warning if this continues. We've got a large water spout pushing just like this. And so on that trajectory, we will get a tornado warning if that continues for southern Baldwin County. All right, so southern Baldwin County, putting you on notice, you're going to get a tornado warning if this continues. And it's 7:36 on this Wednesday evening. This is going to ultimately move towards places like Weeks Bay and also Bon Secour, Magnolia Springs, Barnwell, Foley. You'll be under the gun if this holds its strength. So I'm just telling you, if it holds its strength, you're getting a tornado warning. There's no doubt with this signature. Hopefully it weakens, but hope is not a plan. And so have a way to hear warnings in southern Baldwin County, and it's so helpful to me for you to tag folks in those communities that I just called out. Fort Morgan, Gulf Highlands, Gulf Shores, Foley, Bon Secour, Magnolia Springs, Point Clear, Barnwell, Silver Hill. Possible tornado warning coming in the next 20 minutes. Now, a bit of housekeeping here. Let's go back over to LD2 because for the first time in, goodness, what has it been? When did we start? Like 2 hours ago, right, Landon? It's been about 2 hours. 2.5 hours. Okay, 2.5 hours. So for the first time in 2.5 hours, we do not have any active tornado warnings for any part of our local area. Now, normally what I would do is, under normal circumstances, we would end the feed and we'd come back on to, continue the coverage. We'd go back to covering storms in the Red Zone Weather app, come back on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, but I don't think that is the right course of action. And so we're going to stay here with you because I have reasonable suspicion to believe that we are going to get a tornado warning soon in southern Baldwin County. Let's go back over to LD1 and I'll kind of paint the picture of why. This entire area is blanketed under a severe thunderstorm warning. And that includes Baldwin County, basically the whole county, and that includes Mobile County. Lots of population. City of Mobile, West Mobile, Saraland, Satsuma, Pritchard, Tillman's Corner, Theodore, Grand Bay, Coden, Alabama Port, Dauphin Island, all involved. And I say that to say we've got a tornadic supercell right here south of Fort Morgan, about 5 miles south of the old fort at Fort Morgan, south of Dauphin Island. And this is your main batch of storms. And so hopefully what happens is this main batch of storms catches up with this tornadic supercell and absorbs it and kind of weakens it. We saw that happen a few weeks ago in Auburn. Auburn was under the gun from a possible tornado. Squall line came in, zapped it. Hopefully that's what happens here. We will see. But I'm just telling you, in southern Baldwin County, there's a big chance you may get a tornado warning in these places. Weeks Bay, Magnolia Springs, Turkey Branch, Point Clear, Summerdale, Silver Hill, Barnwell, areas near Clay City, Foley, Bon Secour, Highway 98, west of 59, Gulf Highlands, Fort Morgan Road, Baldwin County, Alabama. You are next, most likely, to get a tornado warning. So we're going to watch that. There's no warning out officially just yet, but we're going to just keep the coverage going here and hang out until the threat passes. Now, let's go back up to, or excuse me, go back over to radar scope, if you will, please, sir. And we're watching this cell in Butler County, but I did want to give a final all clear to Butler County one more time, because this cell is now at Fort Deposit in Lowndes County, near Interstate 65, near exit 142, coming into areas south of Montgomery. And so this is exiting out of our area to the north. And so there's no active tornado warning for any part of Butler or Lowndes County at this point. Take me back over to LD1, and then we've got something coming in. What's that?
Power outage west of Greenville.
West of where?
Greenville.
West of Greenville, yeah. So that was, in fact, take me back over to the, sorry to have to do that, but take me back over to the radar scope. We got a power outage report west of Greenville, somewhere in this area near Alabama Highway 10, near Alabama Highway 263. Power is out. And so getting a report, was that one report or two? Two reports, okay. So multiple, and I'm going to report that, multiple reports of power outages west of Greenville. Thanks for passing that along, Landon, by the way. Let's get back over to LD1. Again, Butler County, all clear. You're done with the tornado threat at this point. We may have more warnings later. I see that we've got an extension of the tornado watch. You're hearing that noise in the background. And I tell you what, let's see if we can zoom out on this screen and show you what's going on here. I'm going to take the warning data off briefly, because what's happened here, the Weather Service has extended the tornado watch for Baldwin County and Clark County and Mobile and Monroe counties until 10 o'clock. And so a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch continues until 10 o'clock for Clark, Wilcox, Monroe, Baldwin, and Mobile counties. There's a chance it may be canceled before that, but it was about to expire at 8 o'clock, and so the Weather Service is giving it 2 additional hours to work with. And so watching this situation in West Alabama, Southwest Alabama really very carefully as we continue to track these severe thunderstorms. Let's go over to LD2 and kind of put this in motion. Tell you what, I'm going to step off camera briefly since we've been on the air for almost 3 hours, just to grab a swig of water real quick. And again, we certainly want to thank Landon Barentine for being here with us this evening. He's done a phenomenal job as our newest executive producer and member of the Red Zone team. It is 7:42 on this Wednesday evening, December the 14th. And look, we're in the middle of severe weather season. It happens from December to May. Hurricane season is from June to November. The other season is December to May. And so this is typical this time of year. We get numerous storms this time of year, nothing out of the ordinary. And I'll tell you a secret. I don't normally eat during severe weather coverage, but I had to grab a bite to eat. So hopefully that doesn't bother anybody. You know, these TV stations, they've got 2 or 3 meteorologists at any given time, and so they can toss around. We're going to get to the point where I can toss to Landon and, sneak a bite of peanut butter cookie, but we're not there yet. And so I have to kind of sneak on my own when I can. Certainly want to thank all of you for watching our coverage this evening as we continue to track strong to severe thunderstorms moving across southwest Alabama. These thunderstorms are going to continue to move to the east in the hours ahead into northwest Florida, and there is a tornado watch that does continue for Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton counties, points off to the east. We've had several tornado warnings down in the Florida Panhandle thus far today. Right now, we do not, let me repeat, we do not have any tornado warnings for southwest Alabama or northwest Florida. Yes, there is a tornado warning down in Franklin County. and I do want to go down there briefly and let's kind of check on that. Landon, if you'll take me over to LD1. So we're zooming down around Apalachicola just real quick because we do have some folks in imminent danger down here around Appalach. This is going to be a part of Franklin County, Florida. Here's Apalachicola. Indian Pass is right here. This is St. Vincent's. Port St. Joe is here. You've got areas near the Cape. This is Mexico Beach. Possible tornado is going to be moving north of Carabel in Franklin County to the northeast. So that's something to be aware of down in the Florida Panhandle region. Tornado warning for parts of Franklin County, Florida. All right. We've also got a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Houston County, Alabama, extending across the Chattahoochee River. And in fact, that one just went away. All right. 7:45, it's done. So no more severe thunderstorm warning for Houston County, but the tornado warning down in Franklin County does continue. Back in our part of the world, we do have this ongoing severe thunderstorm warning till 8:30 local time for many counties in our local area. Let's go back over to LD2 and we'll show you who's involved in that. Let's kind of work this from north to south. Intense line of thunderstorms coming into Gosport, coming into Monroeville, Mexie, U.S. Highway 84, areas near Chrysler, Uri, Goodway, Frisco City, Huxford, Porch, Freemanville, areas near Wind Creek, Casino and Hotel, Boonville, areas near Lottie, Rabun, the city of Atmore, all the way out to Canoe, Walnut Hill, McKinnon. You are all involved in this severe thunderstorm warning. You've also got an intense thunderstorm coming into Stockton, coming into Alabama Highway 59. Most people think of Alabama Highway 59 going down to the beach, but this is part of 59 that connects the interstate up to Monroe County via Tensaw and Latham. Those areas under the gun from damaging straight line winds over the next several minutes. 7:46 p.m. No active tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida at this point, but we're keeping it here because of this. This is a nasty thunderstorm that is at Fort Morgan in Baldwin County, Alabama, and this is moving just like this. And so this is going to get into Mobile Bay over the next few minutes. Let me actually switch my radar source on radar. Yeah, that thing is really wrapped up. Tell you what, take me to the radar scope source, please, sir. And just to, again, get your bearings straight, here's Dauphin Island. This is Mobile Bay. This is Fort Morgan right here. And so this possible tornado is moving just like that. Going to cross at Fort Morgan, coming into areas near Point Clear, Weeks Bay, Magnolia Springs, Barnwell over the next few minutes. Getting several reports of power outages. Landon, what do you see? Yeah, and I'm seeing that too over on the YouTube side of things. I can't see the Facebook comments, by the way. But I can see them on YouTube on my screen. So, and by the way, how's our audio over there? Are we still good? Okay, yeah. Watching the YouTube side of things very carefully. Landon is watching the Facebook side of things. And tell you what, let's go to LD2, and I want to kind of just play this for a second. Look, I realize that you've got loud and proud thunderstorms in Northwest Florida right now. We have not spent a lot of time thus far talking about Northwest Florida, and the reason for that is we have yet to have a tornado warning in Northwest Florida. Thankfully, that's a good thing. If I'm not talking about you, you need to be happy about it. And we do have loud and proud thunderstorms south of Milton, out here near Navarre, out here near Muddy Ford. This is near Tiger Point and Gulf Breeze, near East Bay. But just know they're under severe limits. There's nothing to worry about in terms of an imminent tornado threat with that storm. Tell you what, let me check on that storm that I just mentioned. I say that, let's go over to radar scope, and that storm that I just called out, Tiger Point, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Milton, Pace, we need to watch that. All right, we need to watch that because that is an area of rotation, and that could be a storm that goes on eventually to produce a tornado. It's probably not producing a tornado right now, but you know, this is one to watch. That has really ramped up over the last frame or two, just as I was saying that. And that's just, you know, a classic example of why, you know, it's so important to stay up to date when we have these severe weather threats. Things are changing as we speak, all right? So, you know, I just called out, you know, and said no severe issues in Santa Rosa County, and we don't have any warnings right now in Santa Rosa County, but I'm just telling you, looking at this this thing right here near Tiger Point, that is an area of rotation that's coming into areas near Navarre, south of, did you have something for me? Okay, coming into areas south of Milton, and so that's one to watch over the next few minutes. Let's go back over to our storm in Baldwin County. Possible tornado coming into areas near Fort Morgan, just to the east of Dauphin Island. Right now, I am not sure if that, I believe that Mobile Bay Ferry still operates from Dauphin Island over to Fort Morgan. I think it operates every single day, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that. Don't take that to the bank. But nonetheless, I wouldn't want to be out on that ferry boat that runs between Fort Morgan and Dauphin Island right there, as we have a possible area of rotation that could be producing a water spout just to the south of the fort at Fort Morgan, coming into areas in southern Baldwin County. That's why we're keeping our coverage going. Tell you what, let's go back over to LD2, please, sir. And I want to check on southern Clark County first. We'll kind of work this from north to south. This is heavy rain that could be producing gusty winds in Clark County, Alabama. The good news is, if you're back behind this line, we are able to give you a severe weather all clear. And we can now do that near Thomasville, Coffeyville, Milry, Silas, Toxey, Gilbertown, Woods Bluff, Campbell, Cunningham, Zimco, Opine. All clear. You are done with the severe weather risk at this point. And you know, if there's one thing that I love, it's being able to give an all clear for the whole night. And so you are done with severe weather for the night in Thomasville, in Cunningham, all the places that I just called out. Milry, you're done. You can go to bed. Don't worry about the weather anymore. You're done in those areas. And we're going to continue to give all clears throughout the night. Let's talk about the city of Mobile. We hadn't really been in there tonight. City of Mobile, heavy rain is happening, but these storms appear to be under severe limits. You may get some gusty winds in Mobile, Midtown, downtown, Chickasaw, campus of the University of South Alabama, West Mobile, Navco, Theodore, Tillman's Corner, the areas near the Battleship. That's the USS Alabama, areas near R&R and the Bluegill. Gusty winds possible, but I tell you, these storms look, you know, kind of anemic compared to the bigger storms farther south. Nasty storms coming into Coden, Bayou La Battery, really past Bayou La Battery at this point. Heavy rain at Dauphin Island. This is your main batch of thunderstorms. And I tell you, this cell out ahead of it is the one that I'm most concerned about. This is Mobile County here, and your main batch of thunderstorms is exiting Mobile County into Mobile Bay. But the bigger concern is Baldwin County at this point, where we could be having a tornado warning coming on the board in the next little bit. I have to say, I think that signature is a little bit more broad than it once was. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. Same area, we're looking at velocity now. Right there, that's Fort Morgan. Got a circulation on top of Fort Morgan, not as tight as it was when it was down here in the Gulf, but nonetheless, we're going to keep our coverage going for this very reason. We could get a tornado warning soon for this part of southern Baldwin County. Foley, Summerdale, Robertsdale, Silver Hill, Fairhope, Point Clear, Clay City, Weeks Bay, Bon Secour, Gulf Shores, and areas out here near Barnwell. You're next in line to potentially have a tornado warning in Baldwin County. You don't have a tornado warning right now. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. But our policy dictates that whenever we have an active tornado warning, we come on and stay on until the threat has passed. And there could be a tornado warning coming soon for Baldwin County. Tell you what, let's go back over to LD2, please, sir. Coming up on 8 o'clock here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida, where we're tracking severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging straight-line winds. And it is my hope that we see these storms continue to get on out of here over the next several hours. And I think that the atmosphere out ahead of these may be just a hair less conducive than the atmosphere that these once were in back over Mississippi. Part of that is due to daytime heating going away. We're now after sunset. Another thing that's going to help is all this rain that's happening out ahead of your main batch of thunderstorms. It may be that we see kind of some of these storms weakening a little bit as they push off to the east. But let me stress, I say that this is still a night when we have a level 4 and level 3 severe weather risk. So this is not going away as quickly, as we would like. And so just, keep hanging out with us. We'll get you through it. We're I would say we're almost halfway done with this, if not maybe a little more. And hopefully the deal is we're able to get all this mess out of here by, at this rate, probably 11 or 12 o'clock. It was 12 or 1 o'clock. I think now we can safely back that up to, honestly, probably 11 or 12 o'clock. And so not going to be a deal where we're up at 3 a.m. We'll have cold air coming in at that point. Again, no tornado warnings, so if I go silent for a minute, y'all just hang tight, and we will continue to watch this cell near Fort Morgan that could prompt a tornado warning soon for southern Baldwin. That's kind of why we're keeping our coverage going. And Landon, on YouTube, I'm seeing reports of a lot of heavy rain and loud thunder and that sort of thing, and that's what we expect. We expect that on a night like tonight, but getting a ton of comments over on YouTube. What are you seeing on the Facebook side of things? Same thing. Any specific reports from communities across the region over the last few minutes? Any call-outs that you can give me, since we don't have any active tornado warnings? Did you say a Tiger Point had a power outage?
No, it has power.
Oh, it has power. Okay. Yeah, let's tell you what, let's zoom in there. Again, we don't have any active tornado warnings, so we can be a little bit more chill around here for a second. Nasty, nasty storm coming out of Tiger Point, coming into Navarre, Parkerville. You've also got Muddy Ford right here along State Highway 87. Tell you what, while we are on this, let me go over to the Eglin Air Force Base radar, and we'll check on that briefly. I tell you, that may be the tightest signature that I've got on radar so far. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. I say so far. When I say so far, I mean in the life of this particular cell. I'm just putting you on notice. If you're in Navarre, just know there may be a tornado warning needed for Muddy Ford and areas just to your north over the next little bit. And so southern Santa Rosa County, putting you on notice, we may get a tornado warning in southern Santa Rosa over the next few minutes. If you know someone at Navarre, Muddy Ford, near State Highway 87 in southern Santa Rosa County, call them, let them know that we may have a tornado warning coming soon as we got a supercell storm coming in from the south. Let's kind of see how isolated. Yeah, it's pretty isolated. And so when you see that, that lets me know that this cell is tapping into a good bit of instability, and this is moving to the northeast. We may get a tornado warning for southern Santa Rosa shortly. Take me back over to LD2, and I want to check on something else here. Yeah, let's go back over to radar scope. We'll go back to our storm in Mobile Bay coming towards Baldwin County right here, right there. This is north of Fort Morgan, coming into Weeks Bay and Magnolia Springs. If you're at Magnolia Springs, I'm putting you on notice. You may get a tornado warning shortly. Yeah, and I'm seeing some chatter in the National Weather Service chat that they're watching the same cells we're watching. I tell you, there's another cell coming into areas near Seaside and Miramar down there in southern Walton that also warrants attention. We'll check on that as well briefly. These are supercells, not a cell. Yeah, that thing near, this is out here near Santa Rosa Beach and Miramar. You may get a tornado warning in Walton as well. Not going to affect Okaloosa, there's the line, but Miramar Beach, Santa Rosa Beach, if you know someone in those two communities, they may get a tornado warning over the next 5 to 10 minutes. And so I tell you, I've got some interest in Santa Rosa Beach myself, and I'm going to practice what I preach and say that we have a possible tornado warning shortly for Santa Rosa Beach. Tell you, let's look at our storm in Navarre, coming into Navarre. There's an area of circulation out over the bay, just to the northwest of Navarre. This is now north of Tiger Point, well to the northeast of Gulf Breeze. This is now to the northeast of the zoo, the Gulf Breeze Zoo on US Highway 98. This is going to come into Muddy Ford over the next few minutes. We will see if we get a tornado warning for southern Santa Rosa County. That is a possibility. And this is a supercell storm that's ultimately going to cross into Okaloosa County out here toward Camp J.E. Rudder, which is part of Eglin Air Force Base. This will pass north of Hurlburt Field, north of VPS, which is the airport at Eglin. This is going to cross near Muddy Ford and 87. Tell you what, let's go back over to our source, LD2, please. There's that storm in Walton County coming into Walton. This may prompt a tornado warning imminently for Miramar Beach, for Santa Rosa Beach, also areas near Gulf Place, maybe even Freeport in southern Walton County. So again, we're kind of in a holding phase where we do not have any active tornado warnings at this specific moment, but we've got 3 cells that we're tracking that could produce a tornado warning over the next little bit. And so let's count them together. 1 coming into Weeks Bay and Magnolia Springs, 2 near Navarre and Muddy Ford, and 3 near, let's say, Seaside, north of Seaside really, Santa Rosa Beach and Miramar Beach. So if you are in those communities, just know could have a warning over the next few minutes. Got a report on YouTube in northern Escambia County, Florida, near Walnut Hill, of gusty winds happening over the last few minutes. And by the way, for folks watching across the region, across the state, across the country, and around the world, thank you for your ongoing weather reports. You are our eyes and ears in the field, especially in our local area, but really across the region. So especially at night, you know, it's so tough to track these nocturnal tornadoes. And right now, at this moment, it is just past 8 o'clock. Tell you what, let's go back over to LD1, and I will do a quick reset because we have now just passed 8 o'clock. It is 9 in the east, it's 6 out west, just past 8 o'clock. On this Wednesday, December 14th, 2022, I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Landon Barentine, our executive producer this evening. We've been here for, what, like 3 hours? 3 hours, and going into the third or fourth hour of this coverage as we continue to track severe storms moving across our area. Let's work this line from north to south because we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning that continues until 8:45 local time for several communities across our local area. We'll start in the north and go to the south. If you're in Gosport, Finchburg, Claiborne, Lock and Dam, near there, Highway 84, near Mexie, near Purdue Hill, nasty weather has either started or is about to start. Gusty winds up to 80 miles per hour possible. You've also got nasty storms impacting Choctaw Bluff on the Alabama River, Gainestown, Chrysler, Alabama Highway 59 north of the interstate, Alabama Highway 21 from Huxford up to Uri, State Park, areas near Goodway, Frisco City, Excel involved in the severe thunderstorm warning. We note that Monroeville is not involved in the polygon. If you're in Monroeville, you are technically out of the polygon. Same thing at Tunnel Springs, same thing at Peterman, Beatrice. You're out of the tornado warning, and this does not include those areas. Western Escambia County, Alabama, you are involved in an active active severe thunderstorm warning. Atmore, Porch, Sardine, Huxford, Areas out here near Nokomis, you've also got Sardine, Robinsonville, all those areas. Severe thunderstorm warning in western Escambia County, Alabama. The weather is about to get quite rough in those areas. Damaging straight line winds are the concern. Let's go down into Escambia County, Florida. The only part of Escambia County, Florida that we have under a severe thunderstorm warning. Walnut Hill and areas near Bratt, Burnville, Davisville, and McKinnon. And so this is the far northern part of Escambia County, Florida, involved in an active severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in McDavid, Century, Bluff Springs, Molino, you're out, all right? You're ahead of this. You may get a warning a bit later, but right now this is a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 8:30 local time for the far northwestern corner of Escambia County in Florida. Baldwin County, Alabama, you are also under this severe thunderstorm warning. Everybody in the whole county in Baldwin County is now involved in this severe thunderstorm warning. Doesn't matter where you are, you're involved if you're in Baldwin County. Fairhope, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Spanish Fort, Daphne, Malbus, doesn't matter. You're all involved. Baldwin County, severe thunderstorm warning for you. At this point, we have no active tornado warnings. Again, just to repeat, no active tornado warnings as of 8:05 p.m. Central Standard Time for Southwest Alabama or Northwest Florida. The only tornado warning in the entirety of the United States of America. Let's go back over to, or tell you what, let me just hang out here for a second. I'll show you this on radar. The only tornado warning in the whole country is happening here in Franklin County, Florida, north of Carabel, just to the northeast of Apalachicola. If you know someone in Franklin County, Florida, this is a confirmed tornado north of Carabel moving to the northeast. That could become an issue for areas near St. Mark's, south of Tallahassee, in about an hour. All right, so south of Tallahassee, watching a confirmed tornado at this point with very keen interest. Let's go back into our local area. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for parts of Walton County. The Weather Service in Tallahassee indicating that we may have a possible tornado with this storm as it moves to the north. Let's zoom in and show you that this includes Miramar Beach, Santa Rosa Beach, Freeport, Choctaw Beach, a big chunk of Choctawhatchee Bay, also areas near Defuniak Springs, big chunk of the Eglin Reservation in Walton County involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning. And by the way, that goes until 8:45 local time. So we're talking about Walton County, Florida. If I said Walton County, Alabama, I apologize. It's been a long night. Walton County, Florida, involved in a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. No warnings for Okaloosa or Santa Rosa counties as of 8:07 p.m. And we have no active tornado warning yet anyway. I tell you, that thing's really broadened out. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. The reason we kept this coverage going is because of this. This is a circulation that's out over Mobile Bay at this point. Right in through here, that's much more broad. That is as good of a situation as we can expect. I mean, that's great news because yes, you're seeing a lot of lightning in Magnolia Springs, in Point Clear, back down to Clay City, Bon Secour, coming into Foley, coming into Summerdale, Silver Hill over the next few minutes, but this is under tornado warning limits. In other words, there's no clear-cut indication of an immediate tornado threat in southern Baldwin County. It may ramp up again and prompt a tornado warning. That's possible, but, and I'm getting a report on YouTube that lots of lightning near Magnolia Springs. I'm seeing that on YouTube right now, but at the moment anyway, we don't have any active tornado warnings. That's a good thing. Tell you what, let's check on this cell in Santa Rosa County because this is I tell you, that thing is broadened out too, and so that is a good thing. We do not see any imminent threat of a tornado in Santa Rosa County, Florida right now, and so that is a good thing. Let's look across the region and just make sure Covington's in good shape, Okaloosa's in good shape, Butler's in good shape, Conecuh's in good shape. Yeah, Escambia County, Alabama, Monroe, Clark, Washington, all in good shape. By the way, there's your cold front. This is the cold front. And so if you're behind that line, you are DONE with severe weather for the night. And so tell you what, if you will take me back over to LD1 and I will give some all clears for the whole night. And you can, turn off your live stream and go to bed. You are done with severe weather for the night if you are in Citronelle, Chatham, Millry, Vinegar Bend, Deer Park, McIntosh, Wagerville, all parts of Washington County. We'll give an all clear to the entirety of Washington County, Alabama. You are done with severe weather for the whole night. So, turn me off and go watch. I don't know what people even watch anymore. I do the whole Netflix thing, but you can turn us off and forget about severe weather. We got cold weather coming in. And by the way, I've had several questions today. We're going to get off topic for a second. Let me zoom out across the region. I've had a ton of questions today about the S word. Do you know what the S word is? Snow. I've had a ton of questions about snow today and whether we will have a white Christmas. And look, we get a ton of just outrageousness on social media, as many of you know, and I have to tell you, I am not optimistic about our area having a white Christmas. And so, yes, you're going to see the hypers and the fearmongers and the haters. They're going to go nuts talking about a white Christmas and snow and all that. I'll tell you this, it's going to be cold on Christmas Day. There's no doubt about that. If you want cold weather on Christmas, we got the Christmas for you. But in terms of snow, unlikely across our region. I'll show you a graphic with that in just a minute. Let's hang out with this severe thunderstorm warning first and see what's going to happen with it. Because again, we're watching this line of strong to severe thunderstorms move across our region. This is going to be, this is actually good news. This is going to be a cancellation of the tornado watch for the Mississippi Sound down there around Dauphin Island, and that's because there is no longer a severe weather threat behind the advancing cold front, as we've been saying. Yeah, and some more good news to pass along, some breaking news. All clear for Mobile County. All clear for the entirety of Mobile County. The tornado watch has just been canceled for all parts of Mobile County, all right? So Mobile, Pritchard, Citronelle, does not matter where you are in Mobile County. You are done with severe weather for the night in Mobile County and in Washington County. So all clear for the night in Washington and in Mobile counties. We continue to track severe thunderstorms in parts of Monroe, Clark, Baldwin counties, in addition to Walton counties, and that's where we have the warnings right now. But again, no active tornado warnings as of 8:12 p.m. Joined alongside executive producer Landon Barentine and Bentley Martin now in the building. We certainly want to thank them for being our wonderful producers. We are grateful for them, and I can tell you all of you should be grateful for them as well. I can, stand up here and sit down here and talk about tornadoes for 17 hours straight, but they're really, they're the bosses around here, and they're the ones who keep us on the air, and so certainly want to thank them for being here this evening. Right now, we've got a nasty storm coming into Porch and Huxford, and look, this is going to be a storm that produces gusty winds up to 80 miles per hour. I say 80 miles per hour. Let's actually click on this and see. I don't know if the Weather Service flagged this as a considerable threat. I thought they did. No, they did not. And so they're calling this up to 60 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour winds, still nothing to slouch about, as this could knock down trees and power lines near McCullough, near Porch, near Huxford over the next few minutes. Same thing in Bay Minette. Very heavy rain, quite a bit of lightning in that storm. This is the storm that I was a bit worried about earlier, and it has broadened out. And if you're near Foley, Magnolia Springs, yes, you've got loud thunder, heavy rain, gusty winds, but right now these storms are under, I say they're under severe limits, they're under tornado warning limits, all right? Still above severe limits in that we could have damaging straight line winds, but for now in Baldwin County, you are okay. There's no imminent tornado threat, but I tell you, we still are in this zone where we could have a few more tornadoes over the next few hours. There's the three cells that I'm most concerned about at this point. Southern Baldwin County near Foley, that one is pretty broad, to be honest, at this point, which is good. We're also watching these cells over in northwest Florida. I tell you what, Landon, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, here's one north of Navarre. Here's the other one near Santa Rosa Beach, but they're broad. They're not, indicative of an immediate tornado threat. And so that is a good thing. Getting a ton of reports of lightning and thunder across the region. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who continues to send in ground truth reports from across the region. Back over to LD1, let me put this in motion as I check out a few things here kind of off camera. And for both of y'all, if you see anything in the comments on the Facebook live stream, please pass those along to me and we'll get those relayed. And again, watching this situation as of 8:14 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Landon Barentine and Bentley Martin in the building. Certainly want to thank them for being here. I tell you, there's a little area of rotation in Covington County. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, please, ma'am. And Bentley has taken control from Landon for a minute. And one day we're going to get a camera in here so they can see y'all. It kind of is difficult to ascertain who I'm talking to at any given point in the building, but we'll work on that. Let's go back over to the radar scope source, please. And I tell you what, you're not on that format. I'm sorry. So just hang tight and wait for him. This is a separate program that I've got him using. I apologize. We're watching a cell in southern Covington County, and this is a situation where broad rotation is being observed near Florella and Lockhart. No tornado warning for southern Covington, but just know this is a cell of interest at this point that we're watching. May get a tornado warning, although that seems rather unlikely with the signature. We'll watch it though and let you know if we have any warnings over the next few minutes. Tell you what, let's look at our storm. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for southern Walton County. This is coming into Freeport at the base or the southern part of US Highway 331 that comes out of Defuniak and comes down here to Freeport. Could have dime-sized hail, maybe even nickel-sized hail, along with damaging straight-line winds crossing from Santa Rosa Beach, crossing Choctawhatchee Bay, coming into Freeport, Florida over the next few minutes. This does go, by the way, all the way up to Defuniak, all right? So Defuniak Springs, severe thunderstorm warning for you. This storm in Santa Rosa and Okaloosa counties, you might have some small hail and gusty winds, and this one's gonna track towards Crestview. We'll have to watch it as it comes towards Crestview, but just know there's no tornado warning on that as of now, and I tell you, that's mighty broad, so that's good as we continue to track these storms. I tell you, it is 8:17 p.m. and really, I don't see any imminent areas of concern. And so, frankly, because we've been here for 3 hours, I really don't see any areas of immediate concern. What we're going to do for those of us in the building, we are going to go back to covering these storms in the Red Zone Weather app. And if we get another tornado warning, we will come back. So let's kind of plan to transition to that in the next 5 minutes. But before we do that, I do want to talk a few things here about the ongoing situation. First thing you need to know, all clear for all parts of Choctaw, Washington, and Mobile counties in West Alabama. You are done. Stick a fork in it. You're done with severe weather for the night in those 3 West Alabama counties. Mobile, Washington, Choctaw, Marengo, Sumter, you're all done with the threat. It won't be long. I tell you, let's go ahead and do it. If you're in Clark County, we'll give you an all clear. This cell is about to move out. Let's go back to that source. Let's go back to LD1, just so, again, I can give you an all clear. Clark County, Alabama, you are done with severe weather for the night. The threat has clearly now passed. The tornado watch will be canceled for Clark County in the next hour, all right? So there is no more tornado threat in Clark County. You are done with severe weather for the night. We have now cleared 4 counties from this situation. Choctaw, Clark, Washington, Mobile, Marengo, points north, you're done. Same thing back here in Mississippi. All of Mississippi, you're done. The whole state of Mississippi, you're done with severe weather. Let me show you why. Here's your dew points And this is moist, juicy air out ahead of this line of thunderstorms. Look at temperatures already falling into the 50s back here in West Alabama. You got 54 on the board in Meridian as of 8 o'clock, 55 in Hattiesburg. Temperatures overnight going to take a tumble. Highs tomorrow only going to be in the 60s. By Friday, highs only going to be in the mid-50s. Right now, out ahead of the storms, we've got 73 in Crestview, 72 in Evergreen, and that's why we have an ongoing severe weather threat. Back over to LD2. And you kind of can see on the lightning output what we're looking at in terms of the stronger storms. One stronger storm is happening near Uri and Huxford. Lots of lightning there. Another strong storm near Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Bon Secours, Foley. Gusty winds possible. Another storm happening near Muddy Ford, coming into areas south of Crestview and Holt. Another storm that is a severe thunderstorm is happening near Freeport over in the Florida Panhandle in Walton County. Another strong storm, not severe, under severe limits at this point, is happening in southern Covington County. Let's kind of check on that. That one's got an interesting shape, kind of piqued my interest there. And this one is broadly rotating, but there's really, I don't see really an imminent threat of a tornado necessarily. It is broadly rotating just to kind of shoot it to you straight. We'll have to watch this one over the next few minutes. This is basically tracking toward Oneika, Opp, areas out here near the Florella Airport on 331, moving just like that. And so I'd probably discourage travel on 331 just to be safe. This is a rotating thunderstorm. And what may happen, you may get a tornado warning for parts of Coffee or Geneva counties if this thing can ramp up. So just watching this very carefully. I tell you what, just to be safe, let's go over to the radar scope source, please, sir. And that's kind of what has piqued my interest. Right in through here is an area of rotation. And it's not strong, but it is strengthening. You can see the trend over the last few frames. You see that area of blue coming on the radar display. And the radar is suggesting 70-mile-per-hour winds at about 3,000 feet off the ground. And so this storm is coming together. I realized that I said that we would, go off, but as is so often the case when we try to end the coverage, we, get another warning. And I guarantee you, if I end the coverage, they'll issue another warning. And so let's just keep it here for the next few minutes as we continue to track rotating thunderstorms. No imminent tornado threat across South Alabama or Northwest Florida, but we do see evidence that some of these storms are rotating to the point that they may briefly ramp up and produce a tornado. Let's go back over to LD1 and kind of set the scene across the region. Because again, we have an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 for parts of Monroe, western Escambia, all of Baldwin County, in addition to Walton County over in the Florida Panhandle. We will see if the Weather Service decides to extend that downwind. I suspect, by the way, if they do, what's going to happen here, you're going to get a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Baldwin and southern Escambia, including the Pensacola Metro, because this is one of the stronger regions of that storm. Another strong part of that line is happening near Huxford. If they decide to extend it, it's going to be for Monroe, Conecuh, and Escambia here in South Alabama. But what that means is you kind of see a break in the line, basically south of Atmore and north of Foley. Probably won't get a warning near places like Walnut Hill. And so I suspect if we get new warnings, that is what will happen. Again, that's mere speculation at this point, but watching this trend very carefully. What you got?
I have a question.
Okay.
They have an error message in the app. Will they still get error alerts?
Yeah, good question. And look, the app has been plagued by server capacity issues over the last, how long have we been here? What's it say on the little screen?
3 hours.
Yeah. How long?
3 hours.
Yeah, I've been talking for 3 hours and 10 minutes, and pretty much for the entire duration of that event, this event, I should say, we've had these server capacity issues. We've got 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 folks trying to get on the app at once, and when that happens, our server capacity folks are watching and they increase the amount of traffic we can handle, but sometimes they can't keep up. And so I apologize for folks that are trying to go into the app and it's giving you this database error message. By the way, one thing you can do to help, if you go in the Red Zone Weather app, I wish I could zoom in on here and show you, you can mash that refresh button in the lower left-hand corner, and sometimes that will fix or alleviate the issue. But I can tell you, I apologize for all the server capacity. It's a good problem to have because we know that folks are getting on the app, but you know, it's one of those things that when you're blessed with growth, sometimes your ability to handle that growth exceeds capacity. And so that's something we'll be working on in the days, weeks, months ahead. Thank you for your patience. As far as the question as to if they will get alerts, I really can't give a good answer to that question because it just depends on the number of folks trying to get into the app at once. So again, thanks for your patience on that. I promise we will have a very terse conversation with our app developers and try to get that resolved as soon as possible. I have to tell you, it really grinds my gears and makes me frustrated because that's really beyond my control, but they will be hearing about it tomorrow, just know. So, watching this situation in southern Baldwin County very carefully as we have gusty winds that are possible up to 60 miles per hour. But again, at this point, I don't see imminent tornado threats across the region other than that thing in southern Covington County that continues to move toward Florella and areas just to the north of there toward ultimately Onika and Opp. Again, no imminent tornado threat for Covington County, but this is a rotating thunderstorm that we are watching with keen interest. And so looking at this very carefully. By the way, I promised you a minute ago that we would come back to this. Tell you what, let's zoom out across the region, and Landon, if you will, what I want you to do, again, here's the current radar view. This is what we're dealing with. All clear for Mobile, Washington, Choctaw, and Marengo counties here in West Alabama and Clark County. You're done with severe weather. I realize you've still got some color in Clark, orange and yellow, but that's about to be done. So no more tornado risk in Clark, Marengo, Choctaw, Washington, Mobile counties. I promised you a minute ago that we would go back to the graphics and talk about Christmas. So let's go to the graphics and talk about Christmas Day. There is the tornado risk tonight. That has come down a bit. Look at this. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, and our local area is in this zone where we have an 80 to 90% chance of climatologically below normal temperatures. Now, again, we talked about the S word earlier, snow. Will we have a white Christmas? The answer is probably not. You're going to see a lot of clickbait, a lot of, folks going nuts on social media wanting to, what I call wish cast, but right now there is no significant indication that we will have a white Christmas. Could it happen? Yeah, it could happen. There's about a probably 1% chance, but that's just something to, we'll focus on it when we get a week out. Sunday is a week out from Christmas. So let's focus on it then. Between now and then, there's going to be a lot of hype and speculation. Back over to LB1, we're not here to talk about Christmas Day because that's 10 days out. We're talking about the current situation here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. And the current situation as of 8:27 p.m. is that we do not have any active tornado warnings. All right, we haven't had a tornado warning for a good little bit. Perhaps the atmosphere is becoming a bit more stable and perhaps a little bit less conducive for the development of tornadoes. My goodness, we've had, how many warnings have we had? Like 10, 15, something like that. It's been a lot. And I've heard really of no significant reports of damage across the region. Now, like always in these events, I've heard of trees coming down. I think we had a tree down in Uri earlier. I think we had one down over in Fruitdale in Washington County, if I'm not mistaken. We get so many reports that kind of runs together, so I apologize if those are not the communities. I think that's right. But nonetheless, we're tracking severe thunderstorms pushing out of Baldwin County, the northern part of the county anyway, coming into Atmore. Tell you what, let's zoom into Atmore, and we'll show you that very heavy rain is about to begin near U.S. Highway 31, near the Atmore Airport, Canoe, Waubee, Nokomis, City of Atmore, Highway 21, Jack Springs Road, Freemanville, Robinsonville, Porch, Wind Creek Casino, all the little businesses around the casino, north of I-65, out here towards Porch, Huxford. This is an area where we could have gusty winds, but no imminent tornado threat in Atmore at this point. Let me look at the velocity on this one more time. Yeah, and I tell you what, let's look at this warning a bit more in detail one more time, because again, an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Uri, Huxford, gusty winds likely in Monroeville shortly, same thing at Fulmerton, same thing at Century. Could have gusty winds along US Highway 29 as these storms work their way in from the west. Same thing at Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, areas near the Floribama, Bon Secour, Mifflin, areas near Pirates Cove, Josephine, Alberta, gusty winds possible over the next little bit, but at this moment, no tornado warnings. So let's all take a deep breath. Let's cross our fingers. And tell you what, Landon, if you'll take me back over to LD2, what we're going to do is go back to covering the storms in the Red Zone weather app. We have had a lot of tornado warnings tonight. We're wrapping up the third hour of coverage, and right now we have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for parts of Baldwin, Monroe, and western Escambia, Alabama for the next few minutes. If we have more tornado warnings, of course, we will come back on Facebook Live and YouTube Live to bring you the very latest. But because we don't have any active tornado warnings, we're going back into the app and covering the storms. And you know what? Quick update, of course this would happen. This is good news though, no more warnings. The severe thunderstorm warning has just been canceled. So there legitimately is no reason for me to be up here talking at this point. Storms have weakened and are below severe limits at the moment. We may have more tornado warnings over the next few hours, particularly here in northwest Florida, all right? Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton counties, you're the ones really in my eyes right now. I'm going to be watching you carefully as we may have a few more tornado warnings in that zone over the next little bit. But we don't right now. And again, the warning's over. Severe thunderstorm warning is done. No more warnings for our local area as of now. A severe thunderstorm warning does continue for southern Walton County near Freeport and Defuniak Springs over the next few minutes. On behalf of all of us at Red Zone Group LLC, I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson saying goodbye for now. Next video in the morning. If I don't see you until then, coverage continues in the Red Zone Weather app.
Be sure to find us across social media, and don't forget to download the free Red Zone Weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our Red Zone Weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.